The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Everybody's talking about the Jets hiring a new head coach. They also need a new GM. The Athletic has a list of 15 candidates that the Jets could pursue. We'll talk about that and much more when Jeff Parles joins the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We had Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
We have another show. Thanks to everyone who tuned in earlier. It got wild with Matt O'Leary on the first show today. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. And shout out to everyone out there who tunes in. Make sure you guys timestamp your favorite moments for people who didn't get a chance to watch it live after the fact down in the comments. Join the Patreon if you haven't. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. That is the best way to support me and the show going forward. If you purchased a raffle ticket, we hit the threshold needed for another giveaway. So the Braylon Allen jersey and some items from the merch store will be raffled off a bit later on in the show. But joining us right now in his weekly spot is the big tuna, Jeff Parles. Jeff Parles, what's up, Jeff?
Hello. I still, that was a week ago now, right?
Yeah.
With the nonsense. I will say, it's 11 days in December. This month has moved, Jake. This month has really moved. So happy to be with you. Happy to be with the Asmaniacs. And happy, where's Bob? Bobby usually says hello to me in the chat. He hasn't said hello yet. I don't know what's going on today.
Well, that's on me. I haven't posted the call link yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. He'll be here.
Okay. I was going to say, that's very unlike Bobby. I don't know if I upset him. I don't know. By the way, did Bobby end up being okay?
Oh, he's okay. And guess what, Jeff? He's down 3 pounds in the weight loss challenge. So every pound Bobby loses, he makes about $90.
Come on, Bobby.
Money bags.
Let's get minus 70, Bobby. Let's do it.
I love it. All right, Jeff. So we're going to talk a lot about GM candidates during this show, but I just want to go back to this game Sunday. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Any thoughts, any takeaways from the Jets' overtime loss to Miami?
What do you want me to take away from it, Jake? They lost another game they should have won. That's just all it is. It's just the common denominator of what this team has turned into. And for Jeff Olbrich, look, forget the players, okay? Look, we know the defense is not as good as we wanted it to be. Not even close. They're closer to being a bottom 5 unit than a top 5 unit. Hi, Bobby. Good to see you. The fact that they did not hit Tua once is just impossible. Honestly, impossible. Forget whatever it is. Impossible. Son Reddick has been beyond pathetic. His representation should never represent anyone in the NFL ever again after this fiasco. The people that got him into this mess from the beginning. But really, for me, more than anything, it comes back to Jeff Olbrich, who, look, had a genuine shot to get this job, Jake. And he's the worst interim in the NFL since Jeff Saturday. That's how bad this has gone. And look, the Chiefs just, I think Kaz tweeted this, and it was a good tweet. The world would end if this year's Jets played this year's Chiefs, because the Jets have found every way possible to lose so far this year. And Kansas City's found every way which possible to win. Just the same old, same old. Look, that was the best Rodgers has looked in a long time, so credit to him. Devontae Adams looks like he can still play in that game. That was great. Garrett Wilson, we know, is an elite player. We've known this. And Jalen Ramsey's, I have always thought, is a little bit overrated. But Wilson torched Jalen Ramsey time in, time out. Look, it's a good thing that in my brain at this point that losses are better to move up the draft board. Because if they were still in this thing and they lost that game, It would have been one of like, oh my God, they're really going to miss the playoffs because they blew that game. And that's kind of like, since Ulbrich has taken over, like, it's kind of been almost all these losses, right? Like the Indianapolis game, the Seattle game, the New England loss. Like, there are 4 games, and even I'm not even going to throw the Buffalo in there, even though the Jets very easily could have won that game. There are 5 games that the Jets have played since Ulbrich has taken over that they had no business losing, and they found a way to lose. Just a poorly coached team, and that's what happens.
And it's amazing, too, because if you think about it, they have not been blown out in basically every game this year besides 2. Week 1, you throw it away. All right. They ran
that
into a
one
buzzsaw.
that one I'm not even counting. Like, basically, it was a glorified preseason game. The only game they got their ass kicked was Pittsburgh, and that took 31 minutes to get their ass kicked, basically.
So I was going to say Arizona, because to your point, Pittsburgh, they led at halftime. The final score is misleading.
Yeah, the Arizona game I completely wiped from my memory because that game was legitimately over in 90 seconds. But no, I mean, look, they got demolished in the second half of that Pittsburgh game. They did. So
they did, but remember how it started. The Rodgers pick before halftime and Garrett Wilson dropping the wide open pass.
Look, even if Garrett makes that catch, they were still on their way to losing that game. They may not lose as badly as they did, but
that's my point. It's probably a close game, and they get outcoached in the fourth quarter like they always do.
Lose that game regardless. So, look, this has kind of been vindication for Saleh more so than anything. And again, I'm not saying Robert Saleh should have been the head coach of this team going into the year, Jake, but this has gone from, all right, they're an underachieving, solid football team through 5 weeks with Saleh. I think that's fair to say. Like, they still looked like a real football team more times than not in those first 5 weeks. They even really looked like a real team at all during Ulbrich. So again, just wipe it clean, get new. Again, I fully expect Rodgers to actually play well this last month. Now that things are totally like irrelevant, whatever the playoff drought, even though it wasn't official until they lost on Sunday. Now it's totally official, but I expect Rodgers to play well the last month. And I expect Woody and the idiocy of ownership to at least entertain the idea of Rodgers being back a lot more than they should, in all honesty, Jake. I still don't think Rodgers is back. I think that Tyrod's the week 1 starter for next year, and we'll see where we end up picking.
Get more into that before we get to the athletic list of GM candidates. Rodgers, I think, to your point, he played well on Sunday.
That was his best game. That was his best game. By far, his best game.
I think the Patriot game in the home opener, he played better, personally.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. He was really good on Sunday, though.
He was. But they stalled out in the red zone a couple of times. I'm not trying to criticize him. He clearly played his best game since that home opener, or as you said, you could argue his best game. But let's not forget the previous 3 where he couldn't eclipse more than 200 yards passing. There's a lot of Jet fans who want Aaron Rodgers back as the bridge quarterback. What's your message to those people?
Why bother? Like, that's the thing. Like, here's the deal. I know, Jake, we've talked about just trying to dispel the bad teammate moniker, and like we spent time on that. I get that, but when it's all said and done, the guy is a headache. Like, I'm not saying I'm not going into that sort of thing where I know there are people, especially national media people, that despise Aaron Rodgers. But what's the point? Like, he's aging. He's going to be 41 next year in the middle of the season. If they bring him back, are you really making the playoffs with this version of Aaron Rodgers? Like, are you winning more than 8 games? Probably not. You're probably not winning 8 games anyway with whoever your quarterback is next year, unless the new GM comes in and really builds out the roster. And it's like a Washington scenario where Dan Quinn is able to flip this culture so quickly that you get the 3rd or 4th place schedule and you take advantage of it. I still think Tyrod's your week 1 starter, Jake. You could also, if they pick high enough, if you end up with Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, you could talk me into one of those 2 guys being the week 1 starters. But I don't think they're picking that high because the Giants, I got to give the Giants some credit here, Jake. The Giants, they are executing one of the most prolific tank jobs I've ever seen. It's honestly impressive, the tank job that they're doing right now. And DeVito's starting this weekend. They're going to be the biggest underdog in the NFL this year, at home, no less, against Baltimore. if the Giants turn it around quickly, Joe Shane and Dable deserve a ton of credit because of how prolific they've been in this tank. But the Jets aren't as bad as the Giants, and you know the Jets are winning on Sunday this week. Like
This is the game that Jacksonville starting Mac Jones. The Jets should win.
You know they're going to look great in this game against this pitiful Jacksonville team that somehow won last week.
Even if they don't, they're going to win. They could play their C game and probably win this week.
Well, look, again, we thought they could play their C game against New England the second time, and they didn't, and they paid the price for it. So look,
but that's when there still was relevancy to the season. Now they're going to do the Jet thing when they're eliminated. Now win that game.
Look, the one good thing about the remaining schedule after this game against Jacksonville, if the Rams play like they did on Sunday against Buffalo, the Rams are putting 40 on the Jets. The Bills, the Bills are going to destroy the Jets if they have anything to play for in that Week 17 game. And then Miami is the only one I'm really concerned. I think they're going to split the two Floridian games left. I think they're going 4-13 at this rate, Jake. I think that's where it lands for the Jets.
Early thoughts on the draft, Jeff? Right now, if the draft was today, Jets are picking 7. Who would you take?
BPA, I would take the best player available. Who I'm not sure who would be. I'd either go pass rush with Graham out of Michigan, or I'd go Campbell, the tackle out of LSU, and just try to build out that offensive line. Do not as I've said to you, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize it after Quinn Ewers was really the main reason Texas lost that game to Georgia when it was all said and done on Saturday in the SEC title game. I think it's pretty clear to people that have eyeballs that Quinn Ewers should not be picked. Forget in the top 10. He shouldn't be picked in the first round at this point. I'm in the camp at this rate, Jake, that I would go if you're picking there, because Shador, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter are going 1, 2, 3 in some order. I'm fully convinced of that's your order 1, 2, 3. I just don't know what the order is. I don't think the Jets will be bad enough in order to get into that category. After that, I want BPA, and then I'm considering taking Drew Aller in the second round if he comes out. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Or I'm just not taking quarterback at all. I'm waiting one more year and seeing if next year's quarterback class is any better than this, because this quarterback class is very weak once you get past Ward and Sanders at this rate.
If you're watching live, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Reminder, for every membership you gift, or if you just become a channel member yourself, you get a lottery ticket, a little raffle ticket here with your name on it. It gets added to a bucket, and every time we hit 100 names, we do a new awesome giveaway all month long. We hit over 100, what we needed on the first stream today. So the Braylon Allen jersey will be raffled off a little bit later on in the show. So if you're watching and you purchased a raffle ticket, you might have a chance to win. Also, keep in mind that you could still gift a membership for the next raffle. And one of the prizes, we're doing a bunch for this next one, but one of the prizes is this picture of Joe Willie that is in great condition.
Wow.
Goes back years, and you could frame it for your house. So I got some good stuff here. I also have this one too, Jeff. A little Super Bowl III team getting ready at the Orange Bowl. So
pretty good.
Jerseys, memorabilia, just a lot of stuff will be given away for the holiday season here. So gift your memberships, and every $20 super chat counts for 5 raffle tickets as well. I know people can't gift memberships from the phone, or YouTube's being annoying, so gives you another way to get involved. All right, let's get to this list now from The Athletic. It was written by Zach Rosenblatt, and he basically put together 15 names that the Jets could pursue for their vacant GM candidacy. So I will just read you what Zach wrote to kind of set the parameters of whether or not he's just throwing out names or are these sourced names. Here's the article. We'll go through it. Zach writes, after conversations with league sources, here's a list of candidates that some around the league expect the Jets to pursue, and some candidates who are expected to express their own interest in the Jets job. Candidates listed alphabetically. So we'll just go through it, Jeff, and we'll give a thought or two on each name here. The first name is Ray Agnew, who is the Lions' assistant general manager. His son is currently a scout in the Jets front office. Your thoughts on him?
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to anyone who's been around this current run in Detroit. I mean, let's be real. The Lions started where the Jets are currently. Let's be honest with ourselves. That regime with Holmes and Man Campbell, I mean, they took until the first week of December to get their first win the first year, if you remember that, Jay.
Yep. Remember they tied the Steelers that year?
Yeah, of course I do. I will tell you, one of the loudest sportsbook pops I've ever heard was actually when Goff threw that touchdown against Minnesota to get that first win of the year. which is pretty funny. That gave a loud pop, but that was the one of the louder pop. The loudest pop, by the way, I've ever heard in the sports book from a crowd was the Miami Miracle. So we all enjoyed that day, Jake.
That we did.
But look, I would have no problem with Agnew. He as I've gotten through this, he is one of my top guys as well for this.
Number 2 is Dawn Aponte, or Aponte. I don't know how to say it, but she did used to work for the Jets. I'll read you the blurb on her.
Yep.
Aponte wants to move back to a team's front office, either as a president of football ops or GM. Right now, she's the NFL's chief administrator of football operations. She's worked in various departments for the NFL teams over the years, including in salary cap and personnel for the Jets under Mike Tannenbaum in the early 2000s. Don't underestimate her as a candidate. The Athletic's Diana Rossini reported she's expected to garner interest, and the Chargers interviewed her for their GM job last year.
So this is one of the things that the Jets haven't really had in a while. They haven't had really a cap guru, right? They haven't had someone who really, really gets that thing. And she's the name that I've heard the most, in all honesty. Obviously, it would be a historic hire, as we know. But again, this is a candidate where you look at her resume. Her resume is as good or better than most of these candidates on this list. Just she doesn't have the GM experience. So that is the real hindrance more so than anything. But look, a lot of these candidates are not going to have exact GM experience as well, Jay.
The next name is Mike Borgonzi. He is the Chiefs' assistant general manager. He's been with the Chiefs since 2009 in various roles. He's the assistant GM since 2021. Jets could be looking to poach someone from one of the NFL's best organizations, and the Chiefs at the top of the list, though Borgonzi could have his pick of the litter when it comes to GM openings. I'm always wary, though, when we talk about guys from the Chiefs. All these people have left Kansas City. They haven't had much success. Like the Bears GM, Ryan Poles, is from KC. We know what happened with Matt Nagy when he was a head coach. Eric Bieniemy is one of the biggest jokes in all of sports. Remember, you're racist if you said you didn't want him to be a head coach. I'm always a little weary with the Chiefs because I think so much of it is two guys there, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I would argue 3. Steve Spagnuolo would be the third.
Spags as well, yep.
But I'm with you a little bit. I get wanting to go to that front office 100%, but I can't believe I'm about to say this. The Detroit front office intrigues me more than the Kansas City front office.
It does, because Detroit has been the Jets. You made the point earlier.
Because the Lions and the Browns have been the perennial loser franchises in this league, even more so than the Jets, Jake. And the Lions are the rightful Super Bowl favorites right now. The Detroit freaking Lions. And that's because they have the right organization. Again, I'm pretty sure Agnew's my number one choice. I know another name that was brought up last week on the show that we'll get to in a little bit that may also be a good one. But boy, this is, I don't know. I'm a little bit wary. I'm kind of with you. I'd rather have the guys from Detroit than Kansas City. What a wild statement that is, actually. But that's how I feel.
That's the job that the Lions have done. Credit to them. Brandon Brown, Giants assistant GM. Now, he worked under Howie Roseman in Philadelphia. Spent the last few years with the Giants under Joe Schoen. He was a finalist for the Chargers job last year. I don't know. See, with GM roles, you never know. You don't know how responsible this guy is for what players, what picks. It's all it's way less black and white than like a coordinator of a good offensive team.
So I'll just be quick. Brown was a very highly sought after guy in Philadelphia. Like all my friends in Philly said, "Oh, this is the next guy to get a GM job out of this front office especially after JD left there." But I don't want anyone that's been around that giant stink the last few years, Jay.
Yep.
And that's one of those where I just don't see this as realistic because, again, we talked about this last week with Brian Daboll. I still think Brian Daboll can be a good head coach in this league, but there's a 0% chance that Woody Johnson would take someone who flamed out as the Giants head coach. You really think he's going to hire someone who was a part of this front office? I just don't see it.
Ian Cunningham, Chicago Bears assistant GM, came up with Joe Douglas with the Ravens and Eagles front office. Been viewed as a rising star in league circles. Worked with the Bears since 2022. Was a finalist for the Commanders and Cardinals jobs in recent years. He will get an interview because if he interviewed for the Commanders job last year, we know with Rick Spielman involved.
With the Jets, for
correct.
Sure.
So Ian Cunningham, a name to watch.
Yeah, the guys in the Bears front office scared me also. just kind of look at how that franchise, they've been one of the few franchises that's been as ridiculous as the Jets in recent years, where they just keep drafting quarterbacks and firing the coach at the wrong time, as opposed to, oh, let's get a fresh coach in there. I mean, they've had a top 15 quarterback 3 times in the last 10 years. 3 times. Trubisky, Justin Fields, and now Caleb Williams. And they have managed to screw it up twice now. I would be very worried about taking. And again, I know Cunningham just got there and is newer because he came with polls. But I would be very careful of anyone who's been around that franchise as well.
All right, next name from The Athletic here. Back-to-back guys with a lot of experience. First one, Thomas Dimitroff, former Falcons GM, friend of the Jake Asman show, came on with us Super Bowl week at Radio Row this past year. He was Atlanta's GM from 2008 to 2020 after he got his start working under Belichick in New England. Falcons made the playoffs 6 times in 13 years, including the Super Bowl appearance in 2016. He's been working for a football analytics company, that's Sumer Sports, shout out to them, since the Falcons fired him. It's believed he wants another shot at running a team. League sources think he'd be interested in the Jets job. If you want someone with experience, I think he's a pretty good candidate. And one thing I would point out about Dimitroff is he's hired 2 coaches that went to the playoffs. He drafted a franchise quarterback in Matt Ryan, and he took over the Falcons after Michael Vick got arrested and their head coach bounced, and then they won 11 games in his first year that year. So not the worst candidate in my mind.
So it's interesting. So the history with Dimitroff, though, look at the 2 head coaches he hired. They're both defensive-minded guys, Jay.
Yep.
So I just wonder, because he hired Mike Smith and he hired Dan Quinn. I just wonder if Dimitroff is like, if you can get a guy like Dimitroff, who, look, he built good teams. The only elite team Atlanta had was the year was, of course, the 28-3 fiasco.
Yep.
It's the only truly elite team they had. Got the 1 seed multiple times with teams that I didn't think were all that good. The one that got slaughtered by Green Bay, and then the one that lost to Harbaugh in the NFC title game with the Niners. But look, he has a track record. He has a track record of being successful. There are worse names on this list for sure. I don't think this moves the needle a ton, but I think it would be one of those safer hires if you hired Dimitroff.
I agree. If you don't want a first-timer, you're not finding that many people on this list that have a resume he has that might want this job.
Yeah. No, I look, no disagreement. Again, I don't love it, but it would be like, all right, well, they went the safe route. They went the safe route with a guy who we know is at least competent. He's competent. I just don't know if he's a high-end GM, Jay.
Next guy on the list is, I think, a guy a lot of Jet fans would love, John Dorsey, Lions senior personnel executive. He's one of the most experienced guys you'll find. He led the Chiefs from 13 to 17, Browns 17 to 19. He spent the last few years in the Eagles and Lions front office. I think he's my number 1 guy, Jeff.
So Dorsey is a frosty guy. Let's just say that real quick.
Like the snowman?
No, well, I was going to say crusty, but people get angry when I say crusty.
Should we have Bobby sing Frosty the Snowman?
Why not? Why not?
Bob, start studying up on the lyrics.
So this guy is, look, Dorsey's a winner. And he inherited a disaster in Kansas City. That team won 2 games the year before he got there. And look, he built it through. He's the guy who drafted Baker Mayfield, which I remember at the time, we all thought Sam Darnold was going number 1, and he shocked everyone with Baker. And you know what?
Yep, he's right.
It didn't overall work in Cleveland, but you know what? Dorsey was on the right track. He's on the right track when it was
He showed balls with that decision. He showed that he wasn't just going to do groupthink what the media tells him to do.
Yeah, and now he's been around another winning front office with this current Lions group. Dorsey's not my number 1. My number 1 is actually Agnew from earlier, because they've just been around that, and I actually don't mind if you go with a guy who doesn't have GM experience. Doesn't mean that they're going to be better because they have GM experience, but Dorsey is near the top of my list as well. Again, he does have a reputation of, again, being a little bit of a difficult guy, but he got Andy Reid to Kansas City. Like that was the first step to turning that ship around there. Veach always gets credit for drafting Mahomes, Jake. That's always what has happened in KC, even though Dorsey was technically the guy in charge of that when that happened.
Ray Farmer, Rams senior personnel executive. He was a GM of the Browns in 2014 and 2015. The record, terrible, 10-22.
No, Jake, you can skip forward. No, thank you. I don't want anyone who had to do anything with those Browns teams in the mid-2010s.
All right, the next one here. Mike Greenberg.
Whoa, wait a second. Hold on. Which Greenie are we talking about?
Yeah, the guy that hosts Get Up every now. Mike Greenberg from Long Island. I believe he's from Merrick, Long Island, by the way, and his family. I think I got to confirm this. I was told by someone that they watched the show. So shout out to the Greenberg family.
Yeah,
Buccaneers assistant GM, considered one of the rising GM candidates around the league, and has served as the salary cap expert under Jason Light in Tampa the last few years. I'd expect the Jets to at least interview him. Peter Schrager mentioned this in a recent interview he did with Joe Caporoso, that Greenberg would be the name to watch there. So I do think this guy from Long Island, highly respected, you've been hearing his name the last few years, is going to get an interview with the Jets.
Yeah, this is an intriguing one because Tampa's got one of the most underratedly good front offices in football.
Yeah, look what they did after Brady. They pivoted quick.
They nailed it with Baker. They've built, again, Letch has been there a while now, and they built out a really solid football team. And they did it from cap problems as well. This guy's the salary cap guy for that team. Yeah, I'm in on this. I'd have no problem with that. And look, anyone. You said he's from Merrick, right?
I know it's Long Island. I think it's Merrick. Yep.
Anyone from Long Island, we know will have a Jet connection of some sort, Jake, and you mentioned it. Especially if the family does watch the show. Hopefully they're watching right now. Praise Greenberg here, because he's another guy who would be near. Again, Agnew's my number one choice, but Greenberg, he slides in that top three. I'd be very happy if the Jets hired him.
Well, it's funny. So making the thumbnail for this video, I typed in Mike Greenberg, and I'm like, oh crap. And I got all the pictures of Greeny on ESPN. So I'm like, Mike Greenberg NFL. And it was still coming up Greeny, like takes his hat on the air. I'm like, Mike Greenberg, Tampa Bay.
You should have put Mike Greenberg, ESPN's Mike Greenberg in the thumbnail. You should have done it.
If they hire him, we'll do, who did they hire? And they're just both of them. People will have to click and find out. All right, couple names. Let's rapid fire through so we have time for calls. Mike Martin, Lions Director of Scouting Advancement. He's been in the NFL forever. He is one of Brad Holmes' first front office hires when he got the Lions job. Started his career on the talent evaluation side as a scout for the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, again, anyone from Detroit's good with me potentially, Jake. It's just a matter of picking the correct guy in Detroit.
Lance Newmark, Commanders assistant GM, spent years in the Lions organization, part of their rebuild, before hired away by Adam Peters in Washington this past offseason. Should be noted, Spielman, who will be assisting the Jet search, as we said earlier, helped the Commander search, which led to them hiring Peters. Maybe a guy to watch for a possible interview.
Yeah, he'll probably get an interview just because of what you said, since they were the 33rd team guys were so involved in the Commander searches this past offseason.
Phil Savage. I mean,
nope.
We don't
keep going.
All right. John Spytek, Bucks assistant GM. Hey, we talked about the Bucks front office. Here's another guy from it.
Yeah, again, I have no problem with it. Tampa's got an underratedly, like I said, one of the more underratedly high-end front offices in football, which kind of makes me amazed that they've dealt with Bowles as long as they had. But as long as he keeps winning, I guess keep him around. But no, any of those, Greenberg, Spytek, either of those guys would be fine with me if they end up as the Jets hire.
Spytek is a cool name for headline writers, too.
Good name. It's a good name.
Nolan Teasley, Seahawks assistant GM, 12th season in Seattle, learning under GM John Schneider. In his second year as the assistant GM, after spending most of his tenure in the pro personnel department, could get some interviews.
Seattle's front office is funky. It's always been funky, right?
They've always been good, though. They've always been competitive.
Yeah, I know. They've always they're consistent. They're consistent, which, by the way, I will tell you, though, if they make this hire, I wonder if Pete Carroll's the guy getting the head coaching job, even though it's pretty clear by the end the Seahawks guys have had enough of Carroll at that point.
I don't mind it as a reset, get the culture back on track here. Pete will hire a very good coaching staff.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the problem if they hire Pete Carroll. You and I.
You ageist.
No, it's not that, Jake. It's just that he will make, in a 17-game season, he will make a ridiculous in-game decision every other game that will drive me up the damn wall. And it will work out probably at least half the time because that just manages what happens to happen with Carroll when his time in Seattle. So, yeah, I don't know. There are better candidates than Pete, but again, they could do worse. That's for sure. They could find the modern day Adam Gase. Again, by the way, I know we have one more name on this list. As I continue to watch Darnold have great success in Minnesota, I'm never going to forgive Adam Gase for what he did to that kid. He was the guy. Darnold was the guy.
Yeah.
The Jets hired the right coach. The Jets butchered that hire as badly as any hire they've ever butchered. Because of that, Darnold's going to have a nice back end of his career here where he's a solid, again, I don't think he's as good as he's showing this year, but he could be a mid-tier starting quarterback, which is what we would have loved if Darnold was about the 13th to 12th best quarterback in the NFL.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
I don't know, Jeff. I get all my info from Colin Cowherd. Just like Gary, he has never been wrong. And I think Gase was the right hire.
God, so bad. It's pretty funny. I didn't think we could get more miserable than that 2020 season. I actually had more fun in that 2020 season than I have this year, which is saying something, Jake.
Oh, the pain.
Something about election years, man. Something about election years. Just misery abound with the New York Jets.
One last name, Josh Williams, 49ers director of scouting and football ops, 37 years old. Many believe he's a rising star. He's been with the Niners organization for 14 years, working under John Lynch. Williams lauded for his intelligence and worked his way up from the lowest levels of the organization to where he is now, running point on game strategy. He came up as a college scout.
Again, that's a very competent front office, Jake. Very competent front office. John Lynch has obviously him and Kyle Shanahan have turned that team into a perennial winner. I know this year they haven't been as good, but when you lose arguably three of your six best players, of course you're going to have a down year. So, yeah, and they found Brock Purdy as well. I thought Brock Purdy was awful by the end of his Iowa State tenure. Turned out to be a totally reasonable starting quarterback in this league. So this is, again, no one in that Niner front office is fine with me as well, Jay.
If you're one of the 500 people in here right now, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are presented today by my friends at Underdog. Get your Underdog picks in for all the hockey and the basketball tonight and start looking ahead to Thursday Night Football tomorrow, the college football playoffs, the NFL this week. Underdog, promo code Asman. If you've never played Underdog before, it should be your go-to game when you're watching sports. Download the app right to your phone and make sure you use promo code Asman. Get your picks in. We'll post a Jet Jaguar Underdog slip later in the week in the Discord, and I'm sure I'll mention it on the show as well. Check it out. Underdog, they're offering a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. And all you have to do is just use that promo code Asman and download the app today. Let's bring Jeff back on. Jeff, I told you we have a big-time raffle that we're about to do. All right? A lot of names are in here. A who's who of Asmaniacs. But there can only be one grand prize winner.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Here we go. I have the bucket right here. All the names are in. We got 100 lotto tickets. And for those who are curious, my fingers are great. No paper cuts while ripping up the insane amount of tickets to try and make this happen. It's a lot harder than you'd think. Anyway, here we go, baby. The grand prize winner of the Braylon Allen jersey, which I will be mailing to you tomorrow, is Felix Campos. Hey, I think Felix and Peter Castro had the most tickets. They each had 35. So I had a feeling one of them would likely win.
Way to go, Felix.
Let's go, Felix. Just for you, I'm going to play the Felix song because he just won the raffle. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Felix Campos.
Felix Campos, he wonderful, wonderful guy. He gives a lot of gift memberships and loves the Jake Asman Show.
Take the money.
But wait, there's more. How about second and third place, which is an item from the Jake Asman merch store? Ladies and gentlemen, winner number 2 is L.A., who super chatted or gifted one membership yesterday. He had one entry in LA1. LA, That's $5 well spent. Congrats to you, LA. Please, if you're not on the Discord and you won, message me, Twitter, Instagram, send me your information so I know what you want and what I'm sending you. And then, ladies and gentlemen, our third winner, an item from the merch store it was Felix again. I'm going to pick someone else, Felix. But congrats to you. Congrats to you, Felix. I will still send you something. All right, here we go. Let's pick someone that's not Felix for an item from the merch store. It is, you gotta be kidding me, Felix again. All right, one more, baby. Felix is winning everything.
Oh,
Good God.
Felix is getting it if it's 3 straight times, Jake.
Oh my God. All right, here we go. Winner. You gotta be kidding me. It was Felix again. Oh my God. This is unreal.
Jake,
here we go.
Sure?
A new winner of something for the merch store.
Felix.
No way. No way. It's Felix again.
Guys, this is great content.
One more. Can you tell the Jets are 3-10, by the way? One more. Here we go. Please don't. I love you, Felix, but it can't be you. Bo, he won 2. Bo, I love you. I'll send you something else. I'm picking another winner, too.
What is happening?
Bo won 2 yesterday. All right. This is unreal. It can't be Felix. It can't be Bo. I'm trying to get new winners here. Ladies and gentlemen, winner. I'm really mixing it up here. This is insane. All right, here we go.
No, you got to rummage around, Jake. You got to rummage around.
I did. Listener PC, which is short for Peter Castro. Yes. There you go, Peter. You're getting another item from the merch store. Oh, my God. That was insane. So I forgot who won. I know Felix won the grand prize, PC, and then LA. Those are the 3. There you go. Oh, my God. That was woof.
That was exhausting, Jake.
I am stressed. I can't believe it.
I can't even believe it. Thank you, John. I can't even believe it.
Unreal. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay. Congratulations. Felix, I have your info. I will send that to you. LA, we will take care of you. I don't have your info. And Peter Castro, I sent you an item yesterday. You're getting more merch. I love it. Incredible. All right. Congrats to the winners. Every membership from this point on goes towards the next raffle, which will include this photo as the grand prize, the Joe Willie, baby. What it's all about. And you can frame it, and it is epic. Congrats to all. All right, let's open up the Gusbuster hotline right now. We got a couple super chats. Snake Pilskin writes in, they play hard. The team is just not that good. Yeah, I mean, I think that, Jeff, I would say the number one issue on this team is not talent, it's coaching. And if they get the coaching right, they have a chance at the bare minimum be competitive next year.
Oh, I mean, look, if they had reasonable coaching, Jake, they'd still be alive. I'm not sure if they would make the playoffs, but they'd still be alive. If you just win some of your close games, you're at 6 or 7 wins right now. So again, it's more the coaching. Again, it all goes back to last year. All what he had to do was not give everyone a mulligan because Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and this season looks a lot different.
Ladies and gentlemen, more super chats. Kyle Clifton, shocked no Will McClay or Andy Weidel in the article. Will McClay's the Cowboys guy, and I know teams for years have tried.
Not happening.
Andy Weidel, I don't know much about.
Steelers
guy.
Yeah, Steelers.
I don't mind the Steelers front office guy.
Yeah, he was Steelers in Philadelphia. So there you go.
Super chat from the big fella. He wants to know, does Jeff know who George Konkinis is?
Okay. It's not a name I'm familiar with. But as I look at it right now, it is the guy who's with the Ravens now. Oh, this is the guy who used to be in Cleveland. Oh, okay. I know who this guy is. Yeah, he was the GM in 2009 in Cleveland. That's when you wanted to be the GM there, right? Yeah, this guy's been in Baltimore forever, Konkinis. I don't think he's going anywhere. Now that I remind myself of who he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gusbuster hotline is open if you want in on the conversation. First up on the hotline is a man who lost not 1, not 2, but 3 pounds in the last week.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I need a bra, Jeff. I need a bra. How you doing, Jerry? Jeff?
Oh, Bobby, you. I was gonna say they made your chest a lot more defined than I would have wanted in that snow globe.
Well, yeah, it's the true body. Jake was there yesterday.
Oh, I saw it. It got a little wild on the Nick Shine program last night.
Hey, do you know what big fella?
Wait a second, Bobby. Why were you shirtless?
Because they wanted, you know how you do the before picture and they have to pick.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sense. Oh, got it.
So, do you know the big fella?
The guy who just super chatted?
Yeah. He was very nice to me. He gave me a walking pad, right, Jake?
Nice.
Yes, the big fella bought Bobby Midnight his own walking pad, which is extraordinarily nice.
Yeah, that's super
it's
kind.
Disgusting in Vermont. It's nasty. So yeah, Jeff, are you happy today? Good. Merry Christmas to you soon. 2 weeks from now, guys.
Yeah, it's
this year. This
month has flown by for whatever reason.
It's not moving, baby.
Did I tell? Did we show him the song I did the other time? 12 Days of Christmas.
It's 4 minutes long. I cannot play the whole thing right now.
Oh,
do you want me to say? Do you want me to sing Frosty Snowman then?
I would prefer that. Yes.
You asked me to do that, so I
did.
You need music for him?
Okay, yeah.
I don't have. I won't be able to play it on my end because then it will get flagged by YouTube.
No, I got it on my end. Don't worry about it.
You got it? All right, Bob. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, ready? You ready, guys?
Oh, we're ready.
Okay. The snowman was a very jolly, happy soul with a corn cob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children say how he came to life one day. There must have been some magic in that old sick hat they found. For when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. Oh, Frosty the snowman was alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play just the same as you and me. Dumpty dump dump dumpty dump dump. Look at Frosty go. Dumpty dumpty dump dump dump. Over the hills and snow. Oh, Frosty the snowman knew the sun was hot that day. So he said, let's run and we'll have some fun now before I melt away. Down to the village with a broomstick in his hand. Running here and there all around the square, saying, catch me if you can. He led them down the streets of town, right to the traffic cop, and he only paused a moment when he heard him holler, stop. Frosty the snowman had to hurry on his way, but he waved goodbye, saying, don't you cry. I'll be back again someday. Dumpty dump dump dumpty dump. Look at Frosty go. Dumpty dump dump dumpty dump. Okay, how's that, guys? Over the hills and snow. So I promised you a song. That was nice. I like to sing, you know, Jeff.
Well done.
You have to let Jake, you know what they are singing that other song.
Bobby, I have a question for you before you ask Jake your question. What is your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, the 12 Days of Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then there are really no bad choices, but okay, that respect.
Well, I like it because I sang it for the whole Jet community, right, Jake? The other day.
Oh yeah.
You know what day I did it, so he could go look back on it.
I'll send it to him, Bobby. I have it. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Did you hear Michael K's show is ending? Is that true?
Yes, I work for the same company.
Why is that? That's horrible.
He's moving to an earlier slot, so he has more time to be with his family and doesn't have to.
Well, that's a good move. Yes, he married a pretty lady too. He married the lady from the bar. Yep. He told us a story on his show. I remember that. Michael K is awesome, better than Don Mattingly would ever be, and John Sterling is better than Don Mattingly too. So,
who?
Yeah.
Oh, Don Mattingly. That's right. I forgot you hate Don Mattingly.
Wait a second. Why? Why are you
tell-
Mattingly?
Because he would have given a kid an autograph that Michael K and John Sterling did, and the kid cried. Can I have the autograph now? What up? Ugh. I feel like going down to kick his
When
ass.
was this?
Oh, this was way back, a long time ago. But still, that's I just don't like the guy.
You know, Bobby, he's not allowed to have sideburns anymore. You know that, right?
Oh, big deal. I don't care. He can't coach.
You didn't get my reference.
Yeah, I know. He wears it on the Yankees. You can have that for the Yankees.
I don't know. Donnie's good with me. He's a big Jets fan.
Well, big deal with him. Oh, get him off. He makes me puke.
I love Donnie. Donnie Baseball. Come on.
That's your problem. He's a horrible manager.
He's a Jet fan. Yankee legend, number 23. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Tino Martinez is a lot better than him.
Don't just catch
Tino Martinez is a lot better play than he would ever be.
All right, Bob. You got that off your chest? You good?
Yeah. Jeff, you have a great week. We'll see you next week. Make sure you see that video of me, okay?
I'll send it to him. Don't worry.
The 12 days of Christmas.
Hell yeah. We'll talk to you soon, Bobby. Absolutely incredible.
Poor Don Mattingly just getting eviscerated on the show by Bobby Midnight today.
I know. He could have been having a bad day, Bob. Maybe he had somewhere to be. You can't judge. You can't assassinate the man's character because he didn't sign one autograph for one person one time.
I mean, look, Kramer and Newman hated Keith Hernandez for 14 years off a loogie that wasn't actually from Keith Hernandez. So just got to be careful there.
That's true. That was one magic loogie. Nick Shine in the house with the super chat. Thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump will be the sound made on the walking pad. Amen. Bobby, weight loss. It's coming. You better use that walking pad, Bobby. Big fella paid a lot of money to send that to you. That's beyond nice of him. Also, Bobby, you might have to take up your problems with this Dorian character who says, "Stop with this nonsense. My ears are bleeding. Please make him stop."
Wow.
So shots fired.
Wow.
Yeah, strong.
Ouch.
Hey, call in, Dorian. You won't. You scaredy cat. I know that's what Bob would probably be saying. All right, let's get to more of your calls. We got a legend on the line. Two of them, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, first up is the great David T. Hello, David.
Hi, Jake and Jeff. As far as Bobby goes, he does a really terrific job with his Christmas songs, the 12 Days of Christmas, and he had Pressure on Him was really good. I listened to it the other day. But I really, as far as he goes, I'd really like to know, I caught him this morning pulling his dance moves.
Yes.
And I'm thinking he's got to be a retired Chippendale dancer because you don't gain moves like that without professional training. So I'm wondering if that's in his background.
I mean, that is a great point, David. I think you're onto something.
But the football question I have, fellas, and you were talking about the GMs and the Mike Greenberg thing, but previous to that, I was on and they were talking, and I know he hasn't been a professional head coach, but they were talking about the offensive coordinator down there. Is it Liam Cohen?
Liam Cohen. Yep.
Yeah, Liam Cohen. Yep.
Yeah, they were really, I mean, this guy was explaining, his coaching background, and I know, I guess he was a really good quarterback at Massachusetts, and, he's doing a bang-up job down there. So I was just wondering if that duo would fancy you guys at all, or?
Liam Cohen is an offensive guy. He's never been a head coach, but if they're going to do the first-time head coach thing, Jeff, I don't know where you stand on it. I would obviously prefer the offensive guy versus the defensive guy.
Yeah, look, Cohen has a lot of experience because he was with McVay for a while and had weird stops at University of Kentucky as well before getting the job down in Tampa after Canales got the Panthers job.
Yes.
I'm with Jake. If you're going to go the first-time route, I want an offensive guy. I don't want a defensive guy.
But I'm still on board. I just want to make it clear. I'm definitely on board with, somebody that's been there and done that, Vrabel, Flores, that had head coaching experience. But it's fun and it's interesting. So we won't know until the time comes.
Hey, David, would you say whoever the Jets hire for their next GM needs to have a good eye for talent?
He has to have a good eye for talent. Yes. Yes. And yes. Yes. I'm trying to think of something clever to say, but I can't. Yeah, he has to have a good eye for talent. That's for sure.
Bullseye. Love it. Spot on, David. Excellent call as always. Tremendous there,
What
Jeff.
a legend. What a legend that guy, David is. And by the way, play the music real quick.
Music?
You know the music I'm talking about. When we talk about the Asmaniacs and seating, Jake.
Oh, I know what you mean. You want this music.
Yes, I do. You're damn right I do. He's got to be a number one seed. I don't care that he's only been around. I don't care that he's only been around for a few weeks. He's a number one seed automatically.
Strong. Look, I mean, he went from not calling ever until November 20th to making the top 4 of the monthly rankings. If he keeps it up, he's got a chance. I don't think it's crazy.
I mean, he's going to be like St. Joe's in 2004, Jake, coming out of nowhere to go undefeated and get a 1 seed when it's all said and done.
That's a take. I don't hate it. That's a take. I do have an update on the tournament, though. I was talking things over with our committee chairman, Boomtown, earlier. The committee is requesting, and I agree with this, so this is now a done deal. If you want to be eligible for Asmaniac Madness in March, you had to have called in at least once in the prior 3 months leading up to the tournament. There are some guys who would make the tournament but have not called in a long time. So we're kindly asking everyone who wants to be eligible to make the tournament, make the field of either 64 or 68 if we have to go to Dayton for the play-in. VR, Hawk, Mike D's Nuts, Justin Spencer, Southern Jet. Like, we're talking about people who definitely would be on there, but they haven't called in a while. Make sure you call in at least once over the final 3 months here so we can get you slotted in the tournament. I think that's a fair request. I approve that.
I agree. I think you have to have called in during this crap heat of a Jet season, especially at the end of it, in order to be eligible. I agree with you. I agree with you on that, Jake. I think that's where we're at. It sounds great. Sounds great. Can't wait to see what the committee does on this. I'm super excited. I mean, we'll have obviously Kentucky and Auburn and all those SEC teams in regular March Madness. I mean, Asmaniac Madness might honestly take the cake this year, though, Jake.
Get ready, folks. All right, I mentioned we had some legends on the line. Here we go. I think that guy.
I know, right?
What's up, Neil?
What's up, Jake? What's up, Parcells? What are you doing? What's happening over there? How's
it's good. It's good to see you, Neil.
How's Disneyland West treating you? How's Disneyland West?
I mean, it's by Vegas standards, it's been freezing here, but Vegas standards freezing is 35 degrees. So
really, it's been that cold during the day.
When it's out, I mean, right now it's only 42.
Wow.
So, I know it's
surprising. It's cold in Vegas. People don't know that.
We are in the desert, so it does get cold in the winter.
I know it gets cold towards the end of the day, but it usually warms up into the 60s. No.
Yeah, it's been a cold day. I mean, I'm actually wearing a hoodie, which doesn't happen very often out here. So.
You know, Jeff, you don't really pay much attention, but we've had a really big spark debate going on from the youngsters to the OGs, you know, pretty much with regard to our thought process on bringing Aaron Rodgers back.
There's a lot of Rodgers truthers, Jeff. That's how I describe it.
Now, you know, Rodgers.
Hold on, wait a second. We've gone from Wilson truthers to Rodgers truthers.
We're starting to get there. We're starting to get there.
At least with Rodgers, At least with Rodgers,
least
a
there's
legitimate
something
truther.
from his
I mean,
history. Yeah,
give me a break. At least it's a quarterback that could throw a football. I mean, let's face it. But, let me just give you my 2 cents here,
Okay.
Jeff, and I want you to digest this and think about it. Aaron Rodgers, we all talked about in the beginning of the season when the defense gives up 20 points or less, his record's 80-10 in his history, okay?
Okay.
This year, our defense has only given up 20 points or less 4 times. 9 times they've given up more than 20 points. So they're certainly not kicking in their end of the schedule. I mean, the thing. And by all standards, okay, besides coaching, I mean, if you look down the list of our failures this year, 1 is coaching, 2 is defense, 3 is special teams with all our missed kicks blowing games. And then, you could put Rodgers at, way down on that list of the reasons for our 3-10 record. Will you agree with that, or you think he's a part of it, a big part?
He's clearly a part of it because they wouldn't have even had this coaching staff if the ownership wasn't scared of him. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, the coaching staff is scared of everybody. I
No,
listen to this.
No, Neil. I'm saying that if Woody Johnson had some fortitude and didn't give the whole coaching staff a freaking redo because Rodgers got hurt when we'd already had multiple years of evidence that this was not an NFL winning coaching staff. We had 3 years of evidence of that at that point.
Yeah, I know. We all thought though that we should run it back.
Like we all knew Nathaniel Hackett couldn't coach offense and call plays. Like we knew this already. Like look, I'll be honest with you. If Todd Downing's the play caller from the get-go here, Robert Saleh might still have his job. Like,
yeah, I tell you, I told Jake, I agree. I think Downing's done a really good job.
Downing was calling plays from week 1. The Jets win the Denver game. There's no argument on that. And if they lose a close game to Minnesota, Woody's not firing Saleh 3-2. Like, it's not happening. So all of this goes back to the fact that the Jets failed in the offseason, more so than anything. And look, Aaron Rodgers is not himself anymore. He's a 40-year-old quarterback. Tom Brady is clearly now the aberration for
No. That's a time out a second, okay? Cool your jets a second there, Shrekky. Let me just say this to you, okay? There's a lot of quarterbacks that have led their teams to Super Bowls and won Super Bowls in their late 30s. Okay.
Did I say late 30s?
What's that?
I said 40. I said 40, Neil. I said 40.
Can I tell you something? At 38 to 40, you wake up at bed and you're sore the same way after a game.
Okay.
Let me tell you
how many of them were
now.
coming off an Achilles at age 40?
Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
No,
if anything,
hold on a second, Neil. I got to cut you off real quick.
Shit, you guys with the Achilles.
Look at the two guys this offseason who ruptured their Achilles last year. Look at the 2 guys, 35 and up. Cousins has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL the last month. And Rodgers has been a shell of himself. He's been about the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL this year, which is, an improvement over the nonsense we saw last year, which would have been good enough last year, but you just made your point. And look, this is why I'm not totally discrediting your point.
Well, let me just say this to you.
Defense is a gigantic issue that this has turned into what it is. This defense is soft. This defense has regressed.
It's garbage. Is what it is.
Defense.
It's one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in the league. It's garbage.
How bad it is. It's pathetic.
Cannot stop a nosebleed. All right, let's face it. And Jeff Olbrich gets on here and talks about him with praise and him with his players. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I swear to God, this guy is the biggest pansy ass I ever saw. And his partner was a pansy ass too. He's just, he just had better, Saleh just had better comments and maybe he was a little tougher in practice. But clearly, these guys were pampered from sauce all the way down. They're unprepared. They're out of shape, and the roster, sticking with the same stupid bullshit rotation on defense when you have everybody weigh less than 250 pounds, and gets pushed around the field and rushing 4 players. I don't even want to talk about that, okay? The bottom line is this. Somebody came on yesterday. Oh, we started with Sanchez, and when Rex came in, he went all the way to the championship game. Oh, that's wonderful. But guess what? He lost to 36-year-old Ben Roethlisberger in the championship game, okay? And he won the Super Bowl.
All right, hold on a
36.
second. Hold on a second, Neil.
Hold on.
Hold
Yeah,
on a
go ahead,
second.
Jeff. I know what you're going to say.
You're conflating 2 years for one. And the second year.
What are you talking about? He was 36 that year.
No. Sanchez lost to Peyton Manning his first year. And he
I'm sorry. And how old was Peyton Manning when he lost to him?
Okay, well, Peyton
Manning.
Manning.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Young. He was young. He didn't go to Denver yet.
Neil, Peyton Manning, when he was in that year was 32 years old.
Okay.
He's right in the prime.
Now let's look at.
Wait a second. Neil, you're so completely.
When we lost to Roethlisberger in a championship game, he was 36.
No, he was younger than Peyton Manning. He got drafted the same year as Eli.
Hold on a second. Neil, you're so full.
I just went through his things and looked at the year he was born.
29 years old in 2011. He was 29. If you're going to come with the arguments, Neil, come with the real
guys, stop a second. Okay, all right.
29. What's next?
Look.
What's next? Like you're basically pulling John Elway.
How about Vinny Testaverde? How about Vinny Testaverde in 1999? How old was he?
Okay, he was never the same guy.
What are you talking about? In 98, he was 38 years old.
No, okay. Jake, get rid of him.
Don't you? Hey, Drew Brees won a Super Bowl.
He was 35 in 98. Neil, there's a huge difference between a 41 going on 42-year-old next year than any of these guys you brought up.
No, here's what you're missing. Okay, you're missing the fact that the game is different now. The quarterbacks are not getting whacked around like they used to be. They're pampered. The fact that he missed the full year. Hang on a second. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Tom Brady. Wait, Tom Brady runs a faster 40 at 50.
Because he was a unicorn.
47?
You're making me defend Tom Brady right now. What is wrong with you?
What?
You're making me defend Tom Brady right now.
No. You're not. I'm giving you several quarterbacks, okay, that are good up into the 40th year.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Jeff,
I'm listening.
Drew Brees played great football into his 40th year.
Yeah, Drew Brees in his okay. Let's do this. I'm good with this. Drew Brees at age 39 in 2018 should have made a Super Bowl. Absolutely, agree, 100%, and was awesome that year. The next year,
let me tell you something else. I looked up Roethlisberger. His second to last year with Pittsburgh, they were 12-3. And his second to last, how old did Roethlisberger play till? He was 38? How old was he when he retired?
Roethlisberger's arm basically fell off by the end. That team that you're talking about.
No, that team was still 9-7 that last year he played.
At 12-3. The 12-3 2020 Pittsburgh team was the biggest fraud bowl luck box team of all time.
I know, but look how old he was. He was old, though.
Because the team around him was great. This team's not great around Aaron Rodgers right now.
Wait a minute.
And then last year, Roethlisberger was arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. They made the playoffs because they're Mike Tomlin Steelers.
Okay, but my point is this. A likelihood of us making a playoff run next year with a great head coach and a defense that's turned around is more likely to happen with Rodgers than with Justin Fields, than with Jameis Winston, or with Tyrod Taylor, who will play 5 games, who you said is going to be our opening day quarterback. Who else is going to get better than that? Because here's the thing, Jeff, you're not thinking about, okay? A good coach would never have let Rodgers come out of that tent and run back in the game in that Denver game when he was hurt, or Minnesota game, rather. He would have said, sit down,
he would have let him stay out a game or two, let Tyrod Taylor play in. Because I'll say this to you. Aaron Rodgers is healthy right now, okay? And I'm telling you, when he's healthy and he moves around the pocket, he's still a pretty damn good quarterback, Jeff. He's not dead. He's not washed, okay? He had his best game last week, okay, at 41. He had his best game in fucking 4 years. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards in, 3 years?
Yeah, he hadn't thrown.
When's the last time he threw for 300 yards, genius?
Yeah, 2021. That was the last time he threw for 300 yards.
So right now he's throwing for 330 yards, okay? And in the meantime, he's running around the pocket. He's running out of the pocket. We have our beautiful tight end dropping a effing pass in the middle of the field, okay? He threw one to Garrett Wilson down the sideline. Should have been a touchdown. He went out of bounds. I mean, come on. He left 50 yards on the field. He could have had a 400-yard game. Now, let me just say this to you, okay? If he has a good game the next 3 or 4 games and finishes the season out, I'm telling you, as I am sitting here, if he is not a Jet again, which if I'm him, I wouldn't be because of the way he gets run out of town by every asshole in the media, okay? The bottom line is he is going to go to another team. And I swear to God, he's going to be in the championship game like Brett Favre was when he left us. Another one we left out. And how old was Brett Favre, genius, when he got to the championship in Minnesota? Give me the number. Give me the number.
Favre was 39. Favre was 39.
No. He was 40.
He's 39.
39, okay? Yeah. And Brett Favre in his career, okay, got the shit kicked. And let me tell you something. The guy played every game in his career. He was an Iron Man. Okay. Here's the thing, Jeff. Hall of Fame players, okay, the hardest thing for them to do is at the end of their career is to realize they have to change their game up. Aaron Rodgers believes that with one arm tight behind his back and a hamstring is better than Tyrod Taylor. Now, that's not the case anymore, but 3 years ago when we had an MVP season, let's not forget, he's 3 years removed from an MVP season, 2 in a row. He wasn't a young guy when he did that, was he?
No, he was awesome those years.
But was he young?
But he's not the same player. He's not the same player as that.
No, I asked you. How old was he when he won his 2 MVPs?
Jesus
the second
Christ,
one?
Neil. It's not that he's not the same guy anymore.
But
We're
stop
talking about a guy
age, and you're not right. He is not. I agree with you. My point is, he doesn't have to be MVP Aaron Rodgers if we had the defense we've had the last 3 goddamn years.
I don't think anyone's arguing that point, Neil. I haven't argued that point
next
the whole
year,
time.
when we get a competent defensive coordinator like a Wink Martindale or somebody who's got some balls that could blitz, okay, maybe our defense will stop giving up 30 points a game and go back to where they were last year, the year before. If that's the case, my point is, with Aaron Rodgers and the roster he has on offense, holy shit, there's no reason we can't score 23 to 30 points a game. And that's what his goal is. When we had the last 4 years of quarterback play, 10 points was the goddamn goal every week. And we didn't make that half the time. Come on. You're done. Step down, boy. Go back to the Toys R Us over there.
Just remember, Neil, you ended this season. You ended this season back in
Don't
week 4.
talk about me ending.
You ended it. It was all you, Neil. It was all you and the mushy mushes you brought the game week 4.
Hey,
all you.
Just remember, I'm the only one on this screen that has been to a championship game at Shea Stadium and saw.
That is true. I'll give you that.
Okay,
I'll give you that.
I'm
I wasn't alive when they were playing.
Everybody else is a mush around me that's on this channel but me.
I wasn't alive.
And a couple other guys.
Oh, take it all. Take it all. Let's go.
I love Neil so much. That was just as a listener of sports radio and sports media, I enjoyed it.
He's wrong, but it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Again, it's the one point I have the most, and I'm actually kind of wish you would, whatever. It's okay. Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't play for the New York Jets next year, is not playing for anybody. I just want to be openly clear about that. No one else is going to want him, even if he can still play. I really do believe that, Jake. It is the Jets or nothing for Aaron Rodgers for next year. I do firmly believe that.
I think these next 4 games determine that. I agree with you right now, but I think if he plays like he just did on Sunday down the stretch, there'll be a team that will give him a chance somewhere.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, he's going to look good this weekend. Like, he's going to look good this weekend of the opponent. But, boy, that Buffalo.
He should have looked good off the bye against Seattle and their mediocre defense, and he didn't. So it's like, I don't know.
Look. I get Neil's point. I get it. But just you're looking at a guy whose ceiling is about the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL right now. It's really what you're at. And you know what? If you think that's good enough, if you think the defense improves, I'm sure run it back. Go 7-10 next year. That's fine. With the aggravation of him being around.
And the cap hit going from $49 million to move off of him now to $63 million in 2026.
It's just not worth it. You're just delaying the inevitable if you keep him around. Like, you're going 7-10 more likely than not next year, regardless of who your quarterback is. Like, you're going to improve next year because the bad luck, you don't know if he's going to restructure, Neil. You have no idea. The bad luck that happened in the close games this year, that will start regressing back to the positive, Jake. It's just the nature of the NFL. We saw with Minnesota 2 years ago after their epic luck box that they regressed to the mean and didn't win a close game last year. And now this year they're regressing back to winning close games. So regression will happen. So we'll see how it all plays out. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I don't think it's happening. Could Aaron Rodgers look awesome the last 4 weeks of the season? And the Jets convince themselves that he's coming, that he can still play, and he comes back and he restructures, and we get to do the same thing all over again? Sure. It could happen. It's Woody Johnson's Jets. Anything's in play.
Couple super chats reacting to your battle with Neil. The big fella says, want to get crazy? Let's dig up George Blanda.
You know what? Bring back Brooks Bollinger. Bring back Chad Pennington. Let's do it. Let's go back to Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell looked great in that one quarter against Buffalo when the Jets had the playoffs wrapped up.
Let's
right. Bring him back.
Nick
how do I forget Kellen Clements?
Nick Shine says, show went downhill right after Bobby sang.
That I agree with.
No,
actually, that's not true because the eye in the sky came after Bobby, and that was great.
That is true. The great David T. Jeff, you survived your first Asmaniac Rumble. Congratulations, and thanks for coming on.
Always a pleasure, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big tuna, Jeff Parles, with us in his weekly spot on the show. I'll get to more of your calls. Load them up if you want in on the conversation. Big fella's got a question. What's your take on the Gastineau-Favre confrontation? I am glad that Favre put out a statement on Twitter apologizing, saying Gastineau belongs in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I understand why Gastineau's pissed. That play cost him a lot of money as not being the sack king, right? And you know, that was his identity. I thought Dan Patrick had a great take on this on his radio show this morning. I saw it on Twitter. I understand why Gastineau's pissed. And I know he's not doing well health-wise, and that obviously meant everything to him, and it pained him for a long time, and Favre took a dive. I'm glad Favre apologized and owned it. And I am looking forward to watching the 30 for 30 doc. You know, I've met Gastineau before years ago. I met Klecko in person at the Hall of Fame ceremony last year, took a picture with him on the field. He's been on the show before as a guest last year. I met Marty Lyons many times. He's been on the show, so I'm pumped to watch that doc. Bo with a super chat. Rabel, a point. Actually, best resume, Justin Fields. Everyone wants change, but nobody wants to actually make the big moves. This works. Mike Vrabel works, and if he wants Dawn a point as his GM or appointee, I got to learn how to pronounce her name. Fine, but Mike Vrabel's running everything for me. Bring in a GM that he's comfortable with, and if that's Dawn, then I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Every gifted membership, get yourself a ticket for the next raffle. We announced the 3 winners earlier if you tuned in late. Congrats to Felix Campos, who won the Braylon Allen jersey, Peter Castro, who won an item from the merch store, and listener LA, whose info I don't have. So LA, please message me so I can send you something. You guys were the 3 winners earlier today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to the Lup Man. Luppy is next. What's up, Luppy?
What's going on, Jake? How you doing? All right?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in, Luppy. It's been a day.
Crazy day for you, Jake. This morning, I was laughing my ass off the morning show. It was great. And now it just gets topped by Neil. It's crazy. Listen, but it's all about coaching. You know, it's about coaching. You got to get the right coach. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson. We would have got laughed out of the freaking goddamn state if we would have had Russell Wilson as our quarterback. And look at him because of Tomlinson. Tomlinson can coach his ass off. He can coach anything. He can make me look great. You know what I'm saying? It's about the coaching. You got to get the right guy in to fit. You know what I'm saying, Jake? And it's like right now we're just throwing darts at a dartboard. We got to see what that dartboard looks like. What are you looking at? You know, what are those candidates? And like I said, it's all got to fit, and you got to get the right coach because a coach matters like it does in hockey. This is not like, you know, Major League Baseball where you're just going with the flow of what everybody's telling you. Coaching matters. And you got to get the right coach, the right staff. And we screwed up. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is doing a decent job now. I mean, I think since the Achilles, he's not the same person. Everybody can agree with that. But the fact of the matter is we lost the defense. We lost the whole team. It wasn't just one thing that fell apart. It's the offense, the defense, the special teams. It all fell apart because of the coaching. We were barely holding it together when Saleh was there. We know he wasn't a great coach, but he seemed like he was holding somewhat together. And when he went, everything went, and it became a horrible season.
Yeah, the team responded about as poor as you could respond to that. It had the total opposite effect of what Woody thought he was doing.
Right. So you got to get the right coach. So coaching matters. You can see it. Even if it's a bad coach, it matters. Everything matters. You know what I'm saying, though, is Jake, what I got to say right now is for the longest time, I was walking around with Jet swag all the time. That was my team. I go around. I had this thing. Look at this. I'm going to show you this.
Wow.
1989, right? I'd wear this around. Boom. I put it on for you. This is awesome. I love this thing. I have yet to wear it. I thought maybe I could wear it now. This was awesome swag. You know how many times people came to me and said, "Oh, Jets suck at the window. You suck." And all the time I get back. I didn't care. I wore my green. I wore it. I bleed green. But you know what? Now I bleed as maniac.
My man. My man.
Undefeated, Jake. You are undefeated. Today you were undefeated. You just crushed it today. I got the swag going on. Can't wait till my hoodie comes in and I wear this proud. Hopefully next year we'll wear that proud. Yeah, I still wear it anyway. It gets spit on, but it doesn't matter. I will always, as maniac, is the new swag. I'm telling you.
My man. I appreciate it, Luppy. You know I love you. JakeAsman.com if you want any of the items Luppy's got on. If you don't want to wear Jet stuff, I get it. I'm wearing Asmaniac stuff too. I'm with you.
In the other room, I love it. I wear it all the time. You're undefeated, Jake.
I love it. Luppy, you're the man. That jacket, by the way, is awesome, though.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Lupp man. Luppy, checking in. Someone wrote in the chat, Robert C., Ken O'Brien would be a good guest. I want to shout out David M. Smith, who I met when I went across the pond to the UK and watched the Jets play the Vikings. I met David at one of the events I did out there. He sent me a copy of his book, just announced, just released. You get it on Amazon, all about Ken O'Brien, a biography on the second best quarterback for my money in Jet history. So I'm in the process of reading the book. So for any OG Jet fan out there, I know we were just talking about Gastineau and the sack exchange. Well, Kenny O. So definitely check it out. Really cool. Shout out to David for sending me a copy. I wanted to give him a plug on the show. Check it out on Amazon. All right. Just type in Ken O'Brien book or O'Brien, A Life Under Center. And it's awesome, man. Some good pictures in here, too. So any 80s Jet fan or just a Jet fan who wants to learn more about the team, check it out. Can't recommend it enough. Thanks again to David for sending me the book. All right, more of your calls right now. Hit the like button, super chats, all that. Let's get some more raffle entries, of course. Let's say hello to Chris G. Who's next. What's up, Chris?
How's it going? I'm torn about having Rodgers back or not because even though he did look good versus Miami, right, and all that, but I feel like he's been scared to take the hits and stay in the pocket, and he hasn't been throwing deep, which is what I was looking forward to most, him throwing deep to Garrett. So yeah, it's all about getting Vrabel. I feel like we can definitely contend and we can definitely make the playoffs or at least be competitive with Vrabel because we have talent And I can't stand hearing people like Allen say, well, I'm looking at 2026. It's not even off season yet. It's not even off season yet.
Yeah, I mean, every year there's a team that goes from worst to first too. It's going to come down to coaching, and then no matter who the quarterback is, right? And I do think one of the issues Rodgers, have with him is he doesn't want to go through his progressions because he doesn't want to get hit as much. So that he's not throwing deep as much. He threw more deep in this game this past week, but I need to see more of that to even entertain the idea of bringing him back for another year.
Yeah, I mean, he stares down Devontae the entire time. We can see it on the film reveal with Fialco. He just stares at Devontae.
You a first-time caller, Chris?
Yeah, the show's been helping me out a lot, man. We suck. And it just the laughs with Rob and Neil, man. It's awesome.
I love it. How old are you?
14.
14? Nice. You look so much older than Connor Long, and he's only a year younger than you. That's wild.
Yeah, man. I was there 2022 in the debacle versus the Jaguars Thursday night, man. That sucked.
I know about that. I was there too. Nightmare.
Yeah. When I was watching earlier this year, I saw you after that game, you playing a flashback, man. It was awful.
Yeah, maybe I should play that this week because we're playing the Jaguars again, right? First time. Is that the first time these two teams have played since that game? I think it is.
Yeah, so it's almost like that's become like a mini rivalry. We've played so many times.
Yeah, but actually that's not true. No, they played the Jaguars Zach's first year and won. I was at that game too.
And then, Christmas, we had that long scramble.
Yep, you're right. Braxton Berrios had a kickoff return that day too.
Yeah, it takes a lot to still be wearing Jets merch this late into the year like this, man.
Hey, I love it, man. Look, I will tell you things get better because you've never seen this team be good at any point in your life. But I grew up and they were going to the playoffs a lot, so I hope you get to experience that too.
I try to be optimistic. I was optimistic after the Texan game. Look what they gave me. Nothing.
I feel that. I feel that, man. Well, Chris, I appreciate you calling in, man. Call it anytime. All right, great call, and nice job taking a shot at Allen as well. That's going to score you some points with the committee. Good job, Chris, with a first-time call there. How about it? Oh, man, that Jaguars game in the rain, the worst. That was the night the Zach Wilson era died. Only the Jets were dumb enough to allow him to be the backup last year. Thank you, Joe Douglas. This playoff drought would not be at 14 if they had a real backup last year. I'm just telling you the truth. It wouldn't be. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Let's say hello right now to Kyle Clifton. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, Jake? I don't know if you got to that part of the O'Brien book yet, but I think that his daughter married Josh Peck from the Disney Channel.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Josh Peck is Nickelodeon. Not that matters, but I just figured I'd point that out.
Well, he also was on Turner and Hooch on the Disney Channel, the TV series. But
you're reading the Ken O'Brien book too, Kyle?
No, I haven't gotten there yet, but maybe it'll be on my list now that I'm aware of it. I think that Jeff was 1,000% right about the Jets being the only option for Rodgers at this point. Now, could he show something down the stretch, and maybe that his suitors will widen? Maybe, but right now, part of the reason I would think that we might want to see if he wants to come back is we have the hammer if he wants to play. But he's just an option. He's an option, just like Justin Fields is an option, just like the draft is an option. We have to go into this offseason open-minded, and obviously it's going to come down to who they hire, GM and coach. I don't know what Neil was on about before with that whole anecdote with Sanchez and Roethlisberger.
But that's just him thinking Big Ben was older than Peyton Manning somehow.
But somehow you need a veteran quarterback to win it all. Was that the point? Like, I was at that game in Pittsburgh. Sanchez was the reason that we almost won, and we just ran out of time in that game.
Sanchez in that second half played about as well as he had ever played as a Jet. He was phenomenal. If they got the ball back, they were winning the game. I will go to my grave believing that. They got off the field in the 3rd and 6. They're getting the ball back and going down the field and winning.
That's exactly right. The whole reason that we lost that game is we could not stop the run to save our lives.
Well, they came out flat too. They just came out and they let the New England win, basically feel like a Super Bowl win. They weren't ready to play in the first half of that game.
Yep, 1,000%. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Kyle, great call. Yeah, to this day, I can't watch back the highlights from that game. I know what happened. I've seen it. It's a come up on the timeline, and I just don't avoid it. But, I mean, can't do it. Can't watch the 2009 championship game either against the Colts. Can't do it. Can't do it. 2010 AFC title game. That was the hardest loss of my life. Any team I root for. Probably that or 2019 ALCS Game 6, the Altuve home run off Chapman. I was at Game 5 this year of the World Series, but the Yankees were down 3-0. So I didn't think they were going to come back and win the series. They had a chance to at least get it to LA, but that didn't sting as much as the Jets in the championship game in 2010 and 2019 ALCS. Zach writes in, Jake, one of the biggest mistakes Jets management made was before the season started, not taking the bye after the London game. Rodgers was playing injured after the Broncos and Viking game. See, I don't think that was a mistake, Zach, because you can't anticipate Rodgers would be that injured. You don't want your bye in week 5 of the season. You'd rather it be later in the year. That, to me, wasn't the problem. I understand your point, but most teams that early don't want the bye. So I won't blame the Jets. I will not blame them. Let's say hello to Nick T. He's next. What's up, Nick?
What's up, Jake? Hey, tell
Lower your
Chris.
volume. Jesus, hold on. Let me. All right, now go.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so tell Chris it gets better. I mean, a 3-9 year, it does get better in theory, right? I mean, we've all suffered through it. So it's part of the indoctrination of being a Jet fan, I feel like, is you get one of these years where you expect so much and it's just garbage.
Yeah, but this is an all-timer.
Yeah, but
whoa, hey now. I didn't mean to do that. There we go.
Man. I was like, man,
I'm having issues playing things. So I'm using my phone to play it, but I accidentally gave myself double. Continue, Nick.
I got confused. I was like, oh man, like my hair grew back in. I was like, life turned back the clock. Speaking of which, though, I will tell you, like, that is one thing that, like, kind of to go off of Neil's point, and I love Neil because I respect the hell out of him because I know, like, I'm 37. I know Neil just by looks. I know he looks in his own eyes probably like he's a 27-year-old, but, like, realistically, we've lived through this, and here's what I've come to the conclusion of, that you just need a younger quarterback entering the prime. Like, the veteran quarterbacks, it's very rare that they win, and you just need someone that you're going to grow with. And to his point, like, he started talking about that whole Favre year. Okay, yeah, Favre went to the NFC Championship game, but what did we do? 2 straight AFC Championship games after the fact. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, yeah, like Sanchez wasn't great, right? In hindsight, he as a quarterback, he wasn't great, but the success he had was there, and it was because we took a team that was, in my opinion, had talent at the skill positions and was athletic, and we took an athletic quarterback, a young quarterback with that. So I don't know. I'm really in the favor of it's got to go younger. And I know he's a veteran. Jameis is not that bad. I really don't hate the idea of Jameis Winston here because, again, as a guy who grew up, the 98 team was my team. I saw Testaverde do it and was viewed as a quote-unquote failed quarterback. I could see a lot of similarities. He played in Tampa Bay with Jameis Winston. I could make the argument that he could be this generation's Vinny Testaverde.
Former number 1 overall pick, too. I get it. Look, Jameis for 1 year with a quarterback behind them, you could sell me on that. Because here's the thing. I don't love Jameis when he's a backup because he turns it over too much. But Jameis is 30. If you're going to play him for the whole year, he'll win you games. Like, he'll lose you games, too. As a backup, I don't love that. I want you just to come in, run the offense, don't turn it over, because we thought this team would have an elite running game and defense where turnovers would lose the game. You're going to need to score points next year. So Jameis would be entertaining. I don't hate it. It's not maybe my number 1 option, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I honestly think, especially if Rabel comes here with the Tannehill history and what he's done and he's kind of put on paper, so to speak, I wouldn't be shocked one bit if he goes with Winston, knowing he has a little bit of experience or knowledge on the guy. And, hey, we can come in here with a team that's potentially ready to go, at least as a playoff contender moving forward. So, I'm excited. But, Jake, pleasure as always. Catch you next time.
Nick, I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lup Man has delivered us a 5-spot of channel memberships. Who's got it better than us on this channel? Luppy, baby, coming through for the people. 5 times. 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 5 Thank you, Luppy. All right, here we go. Who got them? Following 5 listeners did. These are now 5 entries for the next raffle, courtesy of Luppy. John G, Over the Top 7-2, Orlando G NYJ, Jared Brobeck, and Corey, all receiving channel memberships. Boom. 5 lottery tickets, just like that. All right, what I want to do right now, it is Jaguars week. Many of you discovered this show for the very first time when you tuned into the postgame show after the Jets lost a brutal Thursday night game in December to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But we start with the quarterback. All right, I'm going to get into it. We'll take your calls. I'm sure the Zach truthers will try and make excuses for Zach Wilson. Enough. He sucked. He was god-awful. And tonight was Zach Wilson's last start as the Jet quarterback ever. But we start with the quarterback. All right, I'm going to get into it. We'll take your calls. I'm sure the Zach truthers will try and make excuses for Zach Wilson. Enough. He sucked. He was god-awful. And tonight was Zach Wilson's last start as the Jet quarterback ever. Barring injury, he's done. I'm sorry. I hate saying it. It's not personal. He seems like a nice kid. He's not the answer. He's not. Sorry. I don't want to hear any other takeaway from this game. You want to blame the offensive line? Sure, blame them. They were not good tonight. You want to blame the defense? That's the laziest take, and we're not allowing it. The defense allowed 19 points. That's a bad effort. They're on the field the entire game because this quarterback stinks. And I like Zach Wilson. I've defended Zach Wilson. I've tried to be patient with Zach Wilson, but it's enough. Zach Wilson truthers, he stinks. The guy is terrible. He stinks. All right? Stop defending him. He's got the lowest passer rating in the NFL this season, the lowest completion percentage in the NFL this season. He had the lowest passer rating in the NFL last season. He had the lowest completion percentage in the NFL last season. He hasn't gotten better. I was patient with Zach because he does have talent, because he does have potential, but it's not working. It is not working. He is not the guy. This team is too good to be 7-8. All right, this defense had a, quote, bad game. They gave up 19 points. 19. How dare the defense do anything? Come on, man. The quarterback stinks. He's not the guy. He has not improved. He has not gotten better. He is the same quarterback we saw last year. I defended him last year because we saw flashes. You see that from rookies. Then they get better. You know who got better? Trevor Lawrence got better. All right, watching some of the throws he made tonight. You know who got better? Justin Fields got better. Zach Wilson hasn't gotten better, period. You need your quarterback to make plays. They had 3 points against a Jaguars defense that allows over 23 a game. They're a bottom third defense. You're at home. Your season's on the line. And you scored 3 freaking points. Enough. I'm not dealing with the Zach Wilson truthers. If you're a Zach Wilson truther, you're out. You're not on the show. You're gone. We're not doing it. If your takeaway from this game is not that the quarterback is holding this team back, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. Seek help. I know I need help because I sat in MetLife and I'm going to have pneumonia from this garbage. Enough. I'm tired of it, man. This team is too good to be 7-8. They were 6-3. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. They have everything in place besides a franchise quarterback. And I don't know if Mike White's the guy, but I know he gives the team a better chance to win the last 2. And then I'll bring him back, and I'll bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, or I'll beg for Aaron Rodgers to come here, or I'll beg Derek Carr to come here. I don't know, but I do know the answer is not you run it back with Zach Wilson because, Jake, he needs more time. Enough. He's not playing well. He's playing awful right now. And the second any quarterback comes in, the offense magically looks better. Explain that. Oh, but it's Mike LaFleur's fault. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Enough.
Good times. Imagine the Jets are 7-8 right now.
Button on the left-hand side if you're watching from your computer. JJ with a super chat. You said we're judged on W's and L's. If I bring up how many W's Salah has, you say context matter. Context, we look like a bad team after the bye. Yeah, JJ, I understand that. What do you want me to say? I'm killing them for how they played today. I'm acknowledging they stole this one. So you want me to sit here? You want to fire Robert Saleh when the team's 4-3? What do you want me to say? They did not play well today, but they won. All right? So I'm not going to sit here and do doom and gloom when they have a win over the Eagles this year, a win over the Bills. They nearly beat the Chiefs. And by the way, they're 4-3. They have a winning record. I'm not giving up on the season or firing the head coach when they are 4-3. One more time. 4-3. They won today. God. What a dumb comment. What do you want me to say? Salah's Vince Lombardi. We know there are limitations with this head coach. We understand that this team is still a work in progress. He's also playing with his backup quarterback. All right? He didn't pick Zach Wilson. He's supposed to have Aaron Rodgers. God. Oh, my God. I need to take a sip of water or get some alcohol on me. Stand by. Let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. You know, it's fitting what I'm about to do right now. I'm about to bring on a caller who inspired that most recent rant. Hello, JJ.
You know what's funny? I'm literally only calling because you put that rant.
What's wrong with your internet? Why, JJ? Why? No. What's up with your potato phone?
I have a Samsung Galaxy phone.
Oh, he's gone.
Piece of shit.
From one guy who gets under my skin to another. Gary's next. Hello, Gary.
I get underneath your skin way more than JJ does. Although, do you remember JJ's rant on who picks the quarterback? Who picks the quarterback? Joe Douglas picks the quarterback. Do you remember that rant?
I don't remember that one. No.
So it was one of the best. You really don't remember that when he was saying he wanted Joe Douglas fired, and he's like, you missed, and you were like, he missed our quarterback, and JJ goes, who picks the quarterback? Who picks the quarterback?
Oh yeah. I do.
That was classic.
Maybe one day we'll be able to hear from JJ again.
He has to get the phone fixed. He's a top 3 or 4 caller.
Yeah, the problem is that
we're denied of 2 of the best callers.
Yeah, look, Lane got a new phone. That fixed it. JJ's got to get a new phone. Clearly,
he's got to take care of that because he's one of the best. He's definitely one of the best.
He doesn't know how to spell your name though. He just wrote Gary. That was classic.
What's with 2 R's? That's the second person to do that today. 1 R. That was quite a show you had this morning, Dick. That was an all-time keeper. That was.
I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of genuine laughter just watching the callers, the Asmaniacs, do what they do. I mean, I really didn't have to do much the last 90 minutes of the show.
With Rob and then Big Fella, that was fantastic. It was as good as Jets Talk. I guess it's Jets Talk.
These are shows we would do in July when there's nothing. I didn't think we'd ever have to do this in December, but here we are.
Not this season. Yeah, I didn't think that we thought I'd be talking about winning the division, playoff seeding. You know, that didn't happen. But the good news is Jameis Winston will be available next year, and I like it that you're moving over to that side of the fence.
Do you understand my take on him though? I don't think he's a great backup. I think he's much better as a bridge starter. I'd rather Tyrod as a backup because I think he could run the offense and not turn it over. Winston is what he is. He's entertaining. He'll throw for a lot of yards and touchdowns, but the turnovers are going to kill you at some point. Do you understand the difference?
I understand that you don't. I get it. To me, even if it's a backup, a number 2, a number 3 is different. A number 3, I don't want to just blow the game. A number 2, if I have to use him for a couple of weeks, I still want him to be able to go out and win me a game.
I think Tyrod could do that.
I'm not against Tyrod. I don't think Tyrod sucks. I just think Winston's better. I'm
not love Jameis. I get it.
Yeah. I so hope he ends up here next year. I know it's only going to be for 1 year, and I know it's probably not going to go well, but he's going to have some game where he throws for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's going to have a Mike White night that we was talking about 3 years later.
And it's going to be fun. I know. I'm with you. He will have a couple moments like that for sure. He always does. And then he also will have what he did on Monday night where he throws 2 pick sixes that cost his team, including the last one with 2 minutes to go.
Well, right now he's praying to be delivered from the pick sixes. So hopefully those don't happen anymore.
Him and Rob got to go to church together.
Deliver from the pick sixes. So the other thing I wanted to address about quarterback was I don't think that if they win one more game this year, it's going to be one more game. The tiebreakers is about 6 teams tied with 3 wins. The Jets have, and the tiebreaker is obviously the opponent's winning percentage, correct? They have the Dolphins left on the schedule and the Jaguars. That's going to bring down their opponent's winning percentage. If one of the other 2-win team wins, like if the Giants win or the Raiders win, they have a higher opponent's winning percentage, at least right now, than the Jets. What I'm saying is, I say all that to say the Jets could end up drafting top 3 or 4 if they don't win any more games, which I don't think is impossible. I don't want to do that because I really don't want to draft one of these 2 quarterbacks. It's not even that I think they suck. It's just that I think they're both kind of mid. I think Ward's better than Shador. But, like, even if you end up with a guy like Cam Ward and you end up with a middle-of-the-pack quarterback, then you end up in a position where Jacksonville is or Miami is after that first contract, where you have to decide whether or not you want to pay your mid-quarterback, top-tier quarterback money. And that never works out. Like, I don't want to lose games because I don't want one of those quarterbacks. But to flip that around, my bigger fear is that they win a couple more games. They beat Miami, they beat Jacksonville, they win, and then they draft 12, and then they draft Jalen Milroe or Quinn Ewers because you have a new head coach in, new offensive coordinator, you have offensive guys. They don't want to go with Tyrod. They want their own thing, and they take either Milroe or Ewers at like 10 or 12. And then we're stuck with that. And then the next 2 years are down the drain again. That's my bigger fear.
Okay. I would take a quarterback if they're in a spot to take one of the top 2 guys.
So, like, do you think Miami is happy with Tua? Do you think Jacksonville is happy with Trevor Lawrence?
I think they were happier when they didn't have to pay him. When they were on their rookie deals, they had a window.
I think Lawrence is like, I don't know. I go back and forth. I think Tua sucks. Like, I think Brian Flores was right. I think he sucks. Like, can you give me somebody else?
Luppy writes in, Jameis Winston and Brock Bowers had lunch together, and they both had a salad.
There's so much to take
I
in.
did hear that as well, to be fair.
There's a lot to take in that sentence. I don't know what to make of that. I'll have to give that some
Are you concerned that Bobby is enjoying too much butter by trying to follow your fakakta diet?
I don't understand how eating meat is a fakakta diet. Do you eat meat, Jake?
Yeah, but what about the butter that's incorporated into it? The sticks of butter.
The butter's in a lot of the things you eat.
But the fact that Bobby's just taking a real butter stick and just going to town on it.
Yeah, that's good. There's not much you're gonna find out there that's more nutritious, that's more nutrient rich, more nutrients dense than a stick of butter. I mean.
So do you think he'd be better off having a salad or a butter stick every day?
A butter stick. A stick of butter a day keeps the doctor away.
So one stick of butter a day is better than him having, let's say, a Caesar salad with minimum dressing. Like, not a lot,
Yeah,
just enough.
because I mean, what's in that salad, right? You're gonna have all types of preservatives and junk. As long as it's good butter. If the butter is trash butter, that's not really good for you either. But if the butter is like grass-fed butter, yeah, there's not much more nutrient rich food than you can have than that. Like, if you want to argue with me that there's more nutrients in a piece of lettuce than butter, I'll listen. But I don't think you're going to be able to make that argument that lettuce is more nutritious than butter.
What do you think of my chicken parm last night at dinner? Pretty
I
good,
mean, like, it doesn't trigger me. It's like, I'm not going to take your food. And look what you did. You made Rob order chicken and pasta. Look at that.
I didn't make him do anything. He's a grown man. He went out to lunch with Neil and he ordered chicken and pasta. It's not my fault. We all think you're nuts.
You get it? Hey, Jake, tell Gary, chicken and pasta. Here we go. That's for you, Gary. Yummy.
Wait, we're going to get some gas station pizza now. Bye.
55 years old. He's never had it before. Now, all of a sudden, he's having chicken and pasta. You think it has nothing to do with this show? I get he's a man of free will. I get it. See, that's why I just don't want to take your food takes because you think chicken and pasta is delicious.
I think chicken parm with a side of spicy rigatoni is delicious. Absolutely.
So I know Vincent's Clam Bar really well, and I love it. They have the Feast of the Seven Fishes, which I mentioned last time, which is the squid, the calamar, everything over linguine, which is like absolutely delicious. I don't know how you could put that on one plate and chicken parm over penny on the other and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take the chicken and pasta." Like, why would you pick that?
Because delicious.
Not compared to what else is on the menu.
I disagree. I think chicken parm and pasta is one of the finest things you could have. It's awesome.
There's probably nothing on the menu that I wouldn't take over chicken and parm. The brick oven pizza. Have you ever had the brick oven pizza there? It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm taking that over chicken parm.
I'm going chicken parm 10 out of 10 times. 12 out of 10 times if I'm allowed legally.
Especially like a restaurant like that, that's good. Like, that's really good food there.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
You gotta be kidding me. Chicken parm and pasta penne alla vodka? There's penne alla vodka with chicken in it? What are you talking about, Gary? Gary, I understand you don't like meat. I understand it. Maybe
I don't like meat.
So that's the thing. You don't like meat.
All I do is eat meat. Meat is literally the only thing I eat. Literally, not figuratively. Literally, the only thing.
You don't eat it with pasta.
No, I eat beef. I eat pork. I eat fish. I eat lamb. I eat all those things.
Do you eat pasta?
No, not anymore.
Since when? Since about 30 seconds ago? When?
No, I haven't had. No, because I've been carnivore for about a year and a half, and then before that I was keto, so I haven't had pasta. But I used to eat.
You're out of your mind if you don't have chicken and pasta together. You're going to the wrong places.
It's an Italian thing. Chicken and pasta don't go together.
Yes, they do. I'm Italian. I chicken parm with penny all the time.
So you think if you went to Italy, not Long Island, not New Jersey, if you think you went to Italy and you went to
pizza wasn't even made in Italy too, but it's
what was that?
Pizza was not started in Italy. It was in America.
Yeah, it was started in Naples for Queen Margherita.
Pizza though was something else, right?
No, it's a margarita pizza because it was made and given to Queen Margherita at the
was
time.
not what it is today. No, it's different. Right. So
I mean, it was made in Naples, and it's red, white, and green. Green basil leaf, white mozzarella, and red sauce.
You
Because
live in
that's
Texas.
the colors of
How's
Italian
that
flag.
go for you? You chicken and parm. I'm telling you, chicken parm with pasta is great. You're going to the wrong places. You're in Texas. You can't go to Texas for chicken parm.
No, chicken and pasta don't go together.
You can't do that
because they don't go together because it's a weird texture thing. My mom comes from Italy. If you said chicken and pasta, she's gonna chase you out of the house with a wooden spoon. She's not gonna do it. It's like asking a chef to burn the steak.
A wooden spoon anyway.
What was that?
She probably chases out of the house with a wooden spoon anyway.
She might, but if you ask for chicken and pasta, she's definitely gonna chase you out with a wooden spoon.
Come on, you haven't really had it. Is what we're all. We're a little crazy. A little crazy here right now.
I think I must have had it at some point. I can't remember ever having it.
You have chicken soup? You eat chicken soup?
I'm not really a soup guy, unless it's like clam chowder or something like that.
You know, chicken in there's noodles, which is kind of like a pasta, and it's like the most famous soup ever. You know,
I don't really eat chicken soup.
You know, people aren't crazy for eating chicken and pasta. You know, gas station pizza. Some people are crazy. You know, you run in, you get the run, you're gonna get the extra roll of toilet paper. Maybe that's a little bit what we're talking about. What are you talking about?
It's not that it's crazy. I just don't like. So if you have pasta, which is delicious, you can put so many yummy things on that, like lamb, like pork, like seafood. What? Yeah, seafood. Why are you putting chicken on it? Those don't even go together.
Chicken doesn't go with pasta. Don't you know it's disgusting? Chicken can't go with pasta. Why? Because of the texture. Instead, go get yourself pizza at the closest Shell gas station. Cause chicken don't go with pasta. I just discovered dogs are pets.
What a sequence there. Lumpy, way to step up and get it on your first Asmaniac Rumble. I just got this tweet from @LosLeader. Listening to the show, disbelief, Jets 3-10, and I'm all angry that Gary thinks vegetables are bad for you, FML. Thanks for listening, watching, @LosLeader. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring on someone right now with an internet that will never fail. JJ's next. Hello, JJ.
Okay, so I'm using a different phone. How does it
Are
sound?
you using your coworker's phone to make this call?
No, well, I have two phones, but
Why don't you use this one?
This is the phone that I usually use, right? You can see your cell phone. Can you see?
It doesn't look like that's an iPhone.
No, it's not. It's a Galaxy Fold, but it keeps. I dropped it like a million times, so that's the problem there.
You
I wanted
potato
to
phone.
I wanted to call in because that rant was the funniest rant ever because you were like, they're 4-3, they're 4-3, and then I think we proceeded to go like 0-6 the rest of the way. I don't remember what it was, but we lost a lot of games after that.
Well, no,
At one point,
they finished 7-10. I think they lost 5 in a row after that.
yeah, and I remember that vividly because everybody was killing me. Oh, JJ, you're so negative, and I'm like, we almost lost to Tommy DeVito. What's his name? What was his actual name?
Tommy DeVito.
Oh, that is his actual name.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Jersey Mike's commercial guy.
Yeah, the short guy that was on It's in Sunny in Philadelphia. What's his name?
I know his. Why can't I remember his name? Danny DeVito.
That's what I meant to call him as a joke, but I guess I called him the right name. But
You
either
thought
way,
it was Danny DeVito. But anyway, yes.
yeah, that's what I meant to say. We almost lost to Danny DeVito, but and everybody was so happy, and I'm like, Saleh is a terrible coach. How can no one see that he's just that bad? Like,
yeah, but as we now seen this year, we know Saleh is not a great coach. But if they had fired him like you said and went to Oberg last year, it would have been a disaster too.
No, I didn't want them to fire him and go to Ulbrich. To be honest with you, I didn't want them to fire and promote Ulbrich this year because I thought it was going to be more of the same. However, when it happened, I strategically didn't call in with any negative feedback. I kept telling you guys we're going to go on a run because I wanted to flip the switch. I wanted to no longer be negative because everybody in the chat was being so negative. But I thought that was stupid. Why would you fire Saleh and then promote his understudy? That makes no sense. At least promote Ron Middleton or somebody like that, and then we possibly get the what do you call it? Fired head coach Juju and win the next game. No, you guys went with more of the same, which was stupid. But I'm still bricked up. We'll still go on a run to end this season.
You're bricked up still, really?
Yeah, and then Rodgers is gonna find a way to make his way back to the team. I don't understand it. Like me. I mean, if Rodgers comes back in the next year, it's not the end of the world. I want to see Tyrod Taylor for the rest of the season. And Rodgers really rubbed me the wrong way. Hold on, let me close this door. Sorry.
You got some loud coworkers at Enterprise.
Yeah.
We'll
Rodgers.
pick you up. Will you ever pick me up if I call you?
We'll talk offline for that.
I thought that's how this works. Enterprise will pick you up. I'm talking to someone at Enterprise right now. You haven't picked me up.
Well, we'll talk offline if you need a ride. But anyways, the point is, right? The point is, Rodgers really pissed me off when he said that, I've only been a part of this team for 1 year. I haven't been a part of the 14-year drought. Like that, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that he said that.
He's not wrong, though, to be fair.
He's not wrong, but I mean, at the same time, he's very like snobby all the time about like everything. He's like, oh, I just got here. Like, bro, you were here last year, and if you didn't tear your ACL, you only been starting for the team for 1 year. Yeah, that's your fault. If you would have threw the ball instead of holding on to it, and just got rid of it like you were supposed to on that fourth play.
You can't blame him for his Achilles.
I can, but should he have thrown the ball instead of holding on to it?
JJ, if it didn't happen on that play, it was going to happen on the next play.
Why do you think?
Because if it was going to go, it was going to go. It wasn't just going to not magically happen.
I don't think that's the case. I think that maybe you never know. Sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. That particular play, he didn't throw the ball, and
Speaking
he
of
tore
things
his ACL.
happening,
B-Mac, look at my TV. B-Mac, I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets, go Jets.
Oh, hey, first of all, I have no hat. I really wanted to talk to you, Jake. I didn't want to talk to JJ, but since I'm here, no, hello, I'm by myself. Well, okay. Well, I guess this is BMAC's time, so BMAC showtime. I'm so fire away comments in the chat. Oh yeah, what's up, these siblings? Better that to have. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, some people say I look like I'm Trey Songz. Alan, Peanut Head, you are irrelevant. I don't want to, hear nothing from you, because all you do. See, Peanut Head is not a Jet fan. He's not a Jet fan. Peanut Head is, and again, I know I'm gonna get killed for saying this, and well, B-Mac, you're a Packer fan. You know, who are you? I'm just telling the truth. You know, he's not a Jet fan. All Peanut Head likes to do is just relish into the Jets' misery. And it's just sad someone who's a Packer fan showing the Jets more love than someone who's a quote-unquote diehard Jets fan and just shitting on them all the time, no matter what. I don't get it. But Tom Ace, what's up, Tom Ace? What's up, my man? Yeah, man. Yeah. Good games out of that. Hey, Rick Kent, you're the man. It's good to see you. David, Aaron, B-Mac took Dave's Bricker's advice and took off the hat. No, the reason I don't have a hat is because I lost my hat, so I had no choice but to come on here. You know me, but I wanted to hop on to show to talk to Jake. So, do you like chicken with pasta? Hell yeah, man! I love chicken with pasta. I don't know what Gary's talking about. Gary said he don't like chicken and pasta. Gary, me and you gotta hang out, man. I gotta take you to some restaurants and we gotta at least try chicken with pasta. Just one.
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
I don't even.
Hey, so Gary.
What's up, B-Mac?
Hey! I just want to say this: you are the only, you are the person that I I got my beef with Alan and JJ, but I like you the most out of us two. You are a great
out of the 3-headed assholes or whatever we were called. Is that yeah?
I mean, I don't really hate you at all. I really like you. I like your opinions, and you have great opinions. So
I appreciate that's the first time that's ever been said by anyone on this show. So I appreciate that, B-Mac. I appreciate that.
I do want to say this, actually, though, because you brought up a great point, and it's about Rodgers, right? You said it resembles of the Kobe Bryant his last year, right? You know, like Kobe wasn't like,
he was terrible.
I don't know how Kobe was. Yeah, I mean, Kobe had great flashes, like that 60-point game.
Yeah,
right?
He had a couple of great games, but day in, day out is pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's what we're seeing, like, from Rodgers. Similarly, like, you're going to see, like,
ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Oh, thank you for interrupting my point. I was going to ask Gary a question.
Nobody cares. I'm sorry, but literally nobody cares. Like nobody.
I was gonna be nice to you just now, JJ. I was gonna come in and be nice to you, but since you want to,
I don't care. There's no reason. Let me tell you something. At the end of the season, when Aaron Rodgers retires, I want you to retire from the show. Yeah, so go to a Packers show. We're tired of hearing from you, B-Mac. Like, no, I'm sorry, but they're talking. There's a lot of talk about the March Madness stuff, right? There's a lot of talk about the March Madness. You might not even make it in. You're like a top. Like, people hate me, but they really just can't stand your calls. Like, I'm sure you're a good guy, but you
know what, JJ? Can I say this? People hated me from day one. And all that stuff. People shit on me all my life, but you know what?
No. All right, don't do the whole sob story. We're not here for the sob story. We're not here for the sob story. We don't care about. We're strictly talking about you calling into Jake Asman show.
No, I'm telling you, people don't like my phone calls. And I'm telling you that I don't care if they can hate my phone calls. If you don't want to listen to my phone calls, don't watch me call in.
But it's not just me though. Like you, like when you call in, Jake's show instantly goes from like 400 people to like 200 because they just can't. And then once you hang up, it's the ratings skyrocket back.
Do you have that same energy towards Chiefs man? Because Chiefs fans not just.
Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people who call in, right, that I don't even realize because I try to catch the highlights. I'm sorry. Somebody said that I'm. Huh?
But you realize me calling in because every time I
You
call
called in while you called in and
me out.
interrupted my call. That's why I'm annoyed, because you called in to interrupt my call to talk to Gary. And then here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right?
Talking to you. I want to come here and talk to Jay.
You're a liar, because you've talked negative about Gary. Now all of a sudden, oh, Gary, out of the three, Alan, JJ, and you, I like you, Gary. Gary, don't believe anything this guy says. He's a fraud. He talks crap about Jets fans. He said that we're lucky that he's a Jets fan because we sucked for
Gary,
all
don't
his
listen
life.
to him. Gary, don't listen to him.
Also, wait, can I make one point? 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 Wait.
Yeah.
Can I make one point, right? A lot of people in the comments, they get mad when I call out the fact that that B-Mac lives in like Massachusetts and he's a Jets fan, and they're like, "Oh, I live in a different state and I'm a Jets fan." Are you saying I'm fraud? No. The reason that I'm calling B-Mac specifically a fraud is because he lives in Massachusetts. He's a Packers fan, but yet he calls into the Jets talking show as if he's a Jets fan and calls out other Jets fans. But he's not a Jets fan. That's the difference. You can be a Jets fan and be from wherever you want. You can't be a Jets fan and also say I'm a Packers fan.
Look, I don't care that you call in. Let me piggyback on that, right? B-Mac, check it out though, right? Like, I don't care that you call in. Like, it doesn't bother me, but he's got a point, right? Like, if you have a little brother, you can make fun of your little brother. You can team up on your little brother. If an outsider comes on and picks on your little brother, what do? You go to...
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Hey, listen, buddy. Listen,
I'm going to walk off now because I know that this is not. I'm not falling for this.
You got a dirty mouth.
I'm not falling for this. This is.
Hey, keep your mouth shut.
I'm going to walk off now, Jake. I wanted to talk to you. I want to ask you a question, but it seems like this
You're
is.
an idiot. You don't know anything about football. You never did. You have no perspective.
Phony.
Your boy failed.
B-Mac, you provide nothing. You are an absolute nobody. B-Mac, you're a nobody. B-Mac, just like Aaron, you have to go. You are a nobody, B-Mac. B-Mac, you have no.
You're not a Jets fan. You have to go. You have no why do you hate on your own team, Alan? Why do you hate? Don't pay attention. I'm just with the bigger. Why do you hate on your own team?
I can make fun of my team. You can't. Okay? B-Mac, you are not a Jet fan. You never were. Your guy is gone, and that means you have to go with him. B-Mac, it's over.
Let's see it. Come on.
Because you always come after me. You beef. You are a nozzle, Alan. You don't have nobody don't like you.
Never had any creativity with your calls. Don't ever compare yourself to Chiefs fan. Chiefs fan is a legend. You are a joke, B-Mac. Okay? Chiefs fan is God compared to you. Chiefs fan is a legend.
So you can't hold on.
You are a zero.
Give Chiefs a pad.
Gary's being nice. He knows you're a zero. I'm just the only one to say it.
You crapping me?
You're a nobody.
He's the Packer fan too. What's wrong with the Packer fan? He's a Packer fan.
I got rid of Jerome. Jerome hasn't called back. You know why? Jerome hasn't called in a week, bro. What?
Yeah, but he's still called in, though, supporting Rodgers, supporting the Jets.
Yeah, but he doesn't call anymore because he realizes the Jets are 3-10. He provides nothing anymore. Your team is what, 9-4 or 8-4? You actually are going to the playoffs. No one wants to hear from a fucking Packer fan whose team is 6 games better than us. B-Mac, here's my advice. When Aaron goes, you go. It's over.
You know what? You're right. My team is my Packers. My Packers. That's not the mute fake Dave. Mute fake Dave, please.
You know the discipline. Hey, B-Mac, be quiet real quick. B-Mac, be quiet real quick. The disappointing thing about this is, right, that you think that you even deserve an opportunity to talk to us. And you don't, because you're not a Jets fan. So you shouldn't. This airtime that we're giving you, this is like ridiculous to me. I don't even know why Jake answers your calls at this point. Because you're the only. Jake doesn't want to talk to you. I guarantee you, Jake doesn't want. If Jake wanted to talk to you, he wouldn't have put you on the phone with us three. Hey, buddy. If Jake wanted to talk to you, he would have never put you on the phone with us three. He doesn't want to hear from you anymore. He's showing you. That's why he's putting you through the gauntlet. If you can survive, good. And if he dies, he dies. That's how Jake feels about you now.
Us wasting our air on you. We are the heels. You are a nobody. We don't even look at you as a competitor. You're a nobody. No one gives two shits about you, B-Mac. It's over. B-Mac, it's over. A-Rod is done, and so are you. Go away. Go fucking away. Done. Finished. B-Mac, I might be hated here. I couldn't give a shit. But you know what? I'm more popular than B-Mac. B-Mac, even me.
That's the funny thing. B-Mac, wait, Alan. The funny thing is, hold on, B-Mac, hold on, relax, B-Mac, relax. Alan, B-Mac thinks that me, you, and Gary actually care if we're liked on the show. The people in the chat actually think that we care. We don't care. We call in, we give our opinions, and we keep it pushing. B-Mac, you want to be liked so bad that you're trying to go on this apology tour and come on and have people and defend yourself. I think his screen froze, thank God. No one cares, B-Mac. You're the only one who cares if the people in this chat like us. Like, who cares?
You know, B-Mac, JJ, Gary, and I have been proven to be right more than other people. We were right on the coach. We were right on the GM. We were right more than anybody.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The holiday season, baby. We're in the spirit on this show. Incredible. B-Mac, you did win an item yesterday, and I need your address. Or so email me as with Jake where I'm sending your item that Dark Knight Steve essentially won for you in the raffle yesterday. That I do need. I'm going to get you a beanie. All right. I'm going to get you a Jake Asman Show beanie because you were wearing the beanie yesterday. Now that was the gauntlet right there. Dave Brigger's still on hold. He thinks he's yelling at B-Mac. What's up, Dave? Let me unmute you.
You're an idiot. You
no,
don't know
it's not me.
It's not me. You never did.
B-Mac.
You have no perspective.
Dave, get your eyes fixed. You're mad at B-Mac, not me. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Find me a YouTube channel that's giving you this. Weege with a super chat. I hate the season 3 and 10 even more watching this. Weege, thank you for the $2 super chat. JR Jet in the house. What's up, JR? Rodgers said that in response to a question about how he felt about the 14-year drought, said he can't comment on 14 years, only one, which is the truth. Yeah, I get people being annoyed, maybe the tone and how he answered it, but he's not wrong. I mean, we can't blame Aaron Rodgers for 14 years and missing the playoffs. This year, he's going to wear it, though. It's not only him, but you know, when we think of the 2008 Jet season, we don't think about some of the coaching blunders Mangini made at the end of that year. We blame Favre getting hurt. And everything that went down. Now, that was a battle. B-Mac dealt with Gary, Allen, and JJ. JJ finally found a phone that worked. I mean, that was the real upset. B-Mac, I think you'd have a better chance in these debates if you had better internet. I think a lot of what you're saying gets lost due to the internet connection. We get you a better internet connection, you got a chance. Would you agree with that, Gary?
Yeah. Well, he's going to be up against it. If you have to debate the three of us, or even one of us, that's not an easy. That's like murderer's row right there.
We keep it one-on-one.
If you keep it one-on-one, he's got a shot, but it's a long shot. Like, look who he's up against. He's up against. You know, it's like back in the day. You got to go through A-Rod, Sheffield, Jeter. Like that's a lot. Like that's a lot to go through. One of them is going to get you.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it's a murderer's row of asshole.
That's a lot of assholes, and we don't really care that they hate us. So, we're not going to bite our tongue.
Alan, is this true? You don't care if the chat hates you?
I don't give a shit. No, I don't. And I'll tell you one thing. You know what bothered me the most about that call is when BMAC actually compared himself to Chiefs fan. That's as insulting as ever. Chiefs fan is a legend. BMAC is a joke. BMAC came here when A-Rod came here, and A-Rod's leaving in a couple of days. I think BMAC should follow him. And he's comparing himself to Jerome. Jerome hasn't been calling in a while because he knows he has no more points. All his points. Jerome was the same person who said 14-3. Remember that, okay? This team has a chance to be 3-14. That's when you say nothing. That's when you become mute.
Well,
unfortunately,
he was kind of close. It's just as hard to go 3-14 as it is 14-3.
I just wish we had a player that was so good and won us the Super Bowl that we care what that player does when he goes somewhere else. But we never have a player like that.
We don't. I mean, we think about this. We have Sam Darnold, who's going to the playoffs. We had Geno Smith, who's going to the playoffs, and our quarterback sucks.
Always.
That's just how it just happens. Again, we're a jinx franchise.
All right, here's the asshole roundtable following the defeat.
Wait,
of
hold
BMAC.
on. Hold on. Did no one notice that Dave, what's his name? Dave Brigger just got on and just started saying, "You're an idiot." I think that's the top 10 moment of the show.
How did he think you were BMAC? How did he confuse you two? I don't.
He's fired up. He's Dave. He's got a lot of passion.
To Alan's point earlier, I think that me, Gary, and Alan have been said more right things than wrong things when it came to the franchise. We were the first ones, especially me. I was early on it to say Zach Wilson sucked. And you don't remember this, but I remember this vividly. It was the first time I ever met you, Mr. Jake Asman. It was right outside of MetLife Stadium, right before the
Jaguars
Jacksonville
game. In 2021, Zach's rookie year.
Yep. And I told you, I was like, I don't know, man. I think he sucks. And you said, no, he's good. Watch, you'll see tonight. And that night, after that rainy, cold, stupid game.
No. You're confusing the games. I met you before the first Jaguars game, his rookie year, when they won, and he had that great run against Lawrence.
No, I met you. It was the one where he sucked, and right after the game, you went out there, and he was like, "He stinks." That was the first time I met you.
I didn't think he was good though. I wanted him benched after the Patriot game that year, the second Patriot game. I was on board with going to Mike White at that point.
But you, like everyone else, also, I forget what game it was like, if Breece Hall didn't fall at the 1 yard line and somebody else didn't fall at the 2 yard line, Zach would have had 2 touchdowns, and the stats were.
But that's true. But that is true. But also, as the season then went on, plus Breece got hurt, like we saw he wasn't good, and then you had what happened against the Patriots. So. Yeah, like they used to call me a Zach Wilson truther, JJ. That's what's so funny. I'm known as like the Zach Wilson hater. I'm a Jet fan who wanted to root for our second overall pick to do well, not dump on him and give up on him before it's too late. Because like now we're seeing what's happening with Sam. So that's my thing.
Day one and try to chase him out of town. There was no chance he was going to succeed. Zero. He was horrible from day one. Why not say this guy sucks? Get him out. Anything but Zach. Anything. I don't care if it's Tommy DeVito. I don't care if it's Jake from State Farm. I don't care who it is. Anyone but Zach Wilson.
But the thing is,
hold on. When Jameis Winston is our quarterback next year, Gary and I are going to fly into New Jersey to a game. We are.
Please sit with me. I have 4 seats total. I got 2 for you and 1 for Jake. I got 4 seats. I got 4 seats total. So all 4 of us.
I will do this. If Alan and Gary fly in, I will go to the game next year. Schedule permitting, radio and everything. I will sit with the 3 of you guys at a game next year. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Done. And especially if Jameis Winston is the quarterback. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the funnest game we ever watch. It's going to be a nail biting to the wire. He's going to throw for 400 yards, maybe 1 pick six. Who knows what's going to happen? But at least it's going to be entertainment. Right now, I'm watching Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, half the time it's 3 and out. I'm falling asleep at the games.
I'm going to wear a GoPro so I can film the entire experience, all right? We'll turn it into some content. The asshole convention at MetLife Stadium.
Winston's going to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and it's going to be a 28-24 shootout, and then he's going to throw a pick six, and they're going to lose.
He will.
30.
Listen, Gary, your famous quote is what knockouts don't or knockdowns don't matter. What is it?
Knockouts don't
I didn't actually say it, but it's knockouts don't matter if you land enough jams.
Listen, interceptions don't matter if you throw enough touchdowns. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Hey, and listen, what's this guy's name? Andrew Fialco put the most greatest stat I ever heard in my life. In clutch time, Aaron Rodgers, has thrown 3 picks this year, and he blames it on everybody else. Oh, he ran the wrong route. Oh, he wasn't on the red line. Oh, he was. Jake, I still want you to pull up that red line play so I can show you how our tight end was wide open, and he could have just thrown. If the guy who you throw the ball to ran the wrong route, why would you throw it to him? That still blows my mind to this day. If the guy didn't run the right route, why would you throw it to him? Pull up the play, Jake. I promise you.
I don't have it handy, but I have Orlovsky's breakdown on it. Where
No. Because you disagree with Dan Orlovsky sometimes too.
Yeah, but not when he's breaking down what happened on a play from a quarterback perspective.
But everyone fails to realize that we had a guy wide open. He could have checked it down to a wide open man. He didn't have to throw the ball to the guy who ran the wrong route. I coach football, and I'm not a great coach, but I'm an offensive coordinator. I'm not great. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not great. But I always tell my quarterback one thing. If they run the wrong route, do not throw it to him. If he runs the wrong route, you don't throw it to him. You don't just throw it to him because you think he's supposed to be somewhere, but he isn't. That makes no sense. There was a guy wide open on that play. How many times has Aaron Rodgers cost us games? We got him here to get, and I know you guys are like, oh, if we had a better kicker, we didn't sign Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, by the way, JJ, if you go back and look at that play, if Mike Williams doesn't slip, he still probably comes up with it. Like,
okay, and if Aaron Rodgers throws it, I think it was Tyler Conklin. If Aaron Rodgers just throws it to Tyler Conklin, he catches the ball and he has like 10 yards of space before he even gets touched.
Yeah, but they needed a touchdown, so he's trying to get them closer to the end zone.
We still had like 40 seconds left.
Does it really matter? They're 3-10. All right.
It matters because he stinks.
It doesn't
Say it
matter.
with me.
Yeah, but
Aaron Rodgers this year stinks.
Have you
Jeff Ulbrich
have you
stinks.
been watching the show? I don't want him on the team next year as of now. So we agree there. I'm not like Neil or Rob or Bonesy. I'm not bring Rodgers back. I simply have been saying if he plays like he did Sunday over the last 4, and I have very strict stipulations, modern offense, and I don't think he could play on his current contract because I'm not dealing with the dead cap ramifications of 1 more year. That's all I'm saying. I don't think any of that's going to happen, though. So I don't think he's here next year.
Who do you want to be the quarterback week 1?
Are you asking me?
Well, you.
JJ, it's your show, please.
I have my choice.
If he's asking Jake, by all means, Jake, I defer.
I have my choice. My choice is Sam Howell. And I said it yesterday. That's my choice.
Why? Because you went to North Carolina and you went to one of his games at Chapel Hill. Is that why?
No, I actually like the player, and I wouldn't mind to have him for 1 year. I don't think it's a long-term guy, but I would take him for 1 year. I would. Yes.
All right. Sam Howell's the wrong answer. JJ?
It's wrong. It could be the wrong answer, but I actually would have him as my quarterback. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it.
So
Quinn Ewers. Go on.
Here's the thing, right? When you have like certain players in college, right, who are doing a really good job in college, you don't downplay that. Kind of like with Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson, everybody's like, oh, he's a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver. It's going to take a team to take a chance on a Lamar Jackson type guy. So when you look at like a Cam Ward or a Jalen Milroe to me, I think those guys can translate to the NFL. They're big, strong guys. Even if you look at Anthony Richardson, right? He's starting to play a lot better now that he's been consistently playing. And eventually, who knows? Like Anthony Richardson can turn into the next Cam Newton, who, say what you want about Cam Newton, but he was an MVP in the league. He went to the Super Bowl. You know, he did a really good job. So I like the college guys. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh, this is not a QB draft. And I understand that, but tell me the last QB draft that when we had all these guys projected high. It doesn't work. Sometimes when there's this run on QBs, half of them are bust. But usually when you find a diamond in the rough, then you're going to get a good QB. Like I don't take it this way. Who also got drafted the year Sam Darnold got drafted?
Josh Allen.
Josh
and who else?
And
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Was
Case in
Deshaun
point.
Watson that year too?
No.
No. Was the year before?
Case in point. Look at Josh Rosen, right? Out of the league. No one's ever heard of him. Look at Baker Mayfield. His team thought that he was no good, and they shipped him to 3 different teams. The only 2 players in that whole draft, right, that are still on the same team are Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Josh Allen, his first year was worse than Sam Darnold. I actually went to the game where we played Josh Allen in Buffalo. I was freezing my butt off, and we beat them. And everybody in Buffalo was like, "Oh, this guy Josh Allen sucks." And it took until he got Stephon Diggs. Well, his second year he was pretty good, but until he got Stephon Diggs for him to get elevated. The point that I'm trying to make is
know how to use him. Look, he's obviously has the ability to run, but they were trying to use him like he was Tim Tebow. Like, he wasn't bad. He was the way they used him was asinine. He wasn't,
which is true, but at the same time, whenever they think that this is a great QB class, it doesn't end up being a great QB class. Like, I can't think of one really great QB class where like everybody was
2020, but like that wasn't thought to be a great QB class, but it worked out that way.
And that's what I'm saying. This could be.
Herbert,
and people
also Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts was a second round. He doesn't suck. Is he a great? Can you win a Super Bowl with him? I have my doubts, but you could get to the playoffs with him. That's a pretty good draft.
Jake, if you got Tua as a quarterback for the Jets, if you got quarterback for the next 5 years, are you happy with that?
No, because of the injury stuff. But if I didn't have to worry about the injury concerns, I would take him over what we've had. But the injuries are a huge part of it.
Over what we have. I'm gonna say, if I say Tua and he's healthy, I promise you health. Tua is your quarterback for the next 5 years. Are you taking that?
Not on his current contract. If I have him on his rookie deal, it's a different conversation. Because I think he's average to above average. I don't think he's
like between Tua is like between like.
But why not a Jalen Milroe or Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, like these guys? Like why not
Shador? I want Cam.
A long way to go. Jalen Milroe has
but that's the whole point of good coaching. I mean, like you're not going to get a guy who's going to start week one and be a knockout. If you get one of these guys and you put him behind a veteran like you're supposed to, I mean, look at the best quarterbacks in the league right now, right? Patrick Mahomes had to sit. What's his guy's name in Philadelphia?
Lamar sat. Yeah.
Lamar sat. Jalen Hurts sat. Who else? For what it's worth, the guy in the Chargers, I'm forgetting his name. He kind of sat behind Tyrod a little bit. He didn't get the starting job right away.
He played first year, but I don't think
he played his first year. But in training camp,
week 2, Tyrod got the medical thing in like week 2.
I know, but I'm saying in training camp, he went in with the mindset that he wasn't going to be the week 1 starter, so he had to sit.
JJ, I agree with you. I think no matter what they do at quarterback, if it's a rookie they draft at some point, he should not play week 1. I'm 100% in agreement.
Yeah, the best quarterbacks, in my opinion, the best quarterbacks in the league all had to sit a little bit, and then you got a guy like Trevor Lawrence who was supposed to be the next coming of Peyton Manning or whoever they were comparing him to, and he sucks. And it's a good thing we didn't get him because I said this before. I said he probably would have sucked with us too. And I think Doug Peterson is the greatest. Yes, I do think that he's the greatest Philadelphia Eagles coach of all time. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. We can disagree on that, but at the same time, Doug Peterson is a good coach, right? And he can't get anything out of Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's on Doug. I think that's on Trevor.
Godfather, Sam Howell, terrible ball knowledge. Alan, your thoughts?
I never said he's a great quarterback. I would just take him for 1 year. Again, when you say bridge quarterback, I would rather have a guy who has 1 year left on his deal with no dead money afterwards. The idea of keeping Aaron Rodgers with the idea of having $63 million as a bridge quarterback makes no sense. Do I think Sam Howell is anything great? No. Would I give him an opportunity? I would. Again, I'm not thinking 2025 is a playoff year anyhow. I'm thinking that's the opportunity to see what we have on our roster. Again, do I think Jameis Winston's anything special? No. There isn't a quarterback out there.
I don't understand how you say that. Do you want to hear the list of quarterbacks who have thrown for 5,000 yards in the season? It's like Brady,
Gary,
Mahomes, Marino,
Gary, 30 interceptions, Gary, come on. I love you, Gary.
But whatever. Whatever.
He's not a franchise
it's
quarterback.
like saying a baseball player hit 60 home runs, but he's not that good. No, he's pretty good. To throw for 5,000 yards, you're on the list. That's Mahomes, Marino, Brady, Breeze. I don't even know if Rodgers is on the list. Like, that's how elite that list is. Winston's one of them.
Gary, we watched the end of the Bronco game on Monday night, and we knew what was going to happen at the end of the game. That's Jameis Winston.
I'm not saying he's as good as the guys on the list.
Again, we knew what was going to happen at the game. I would not mind him being our quarterback as our bridge quarterback, knowing there is no dead money in 2026. But do I think Jameis Winston is anything special? I don't. I don't think there is any option out there next year that they can get from the college ranks or from the pro ranks that can come in and really resurrect his career here and be our long-term starter. I don't think there is. I think our next big-time starting quarterback might come from the 2026 class. I really do. I don't think there's anybody out there right now that I have confidence in that can come in next year and be a guy that can really propel this organization into a contender. I think it's over. Unfortunately,
here's
it
the
is.
issue. If we draft early in the first round and either Shador or Cam is on the
But
board,
we're not
going to
draft top 3. We're not. We're going to win.
I
can't
even
believe
it.
Thank
you, John.
believe it.
Wow. Some cracks in the asshole gauntlet team there. Alan and Gary, a fractured relationship. Shout out to JJ. Good job. All right, I got to run. I'm going to be late to my dinner, but this was worth it. 2.5 hours. I think we did 2.5 hours in the morning show. I mean, we're talking about 5 hours of Jet content in December with the team 3-10. Unbelievable. Thank you to everyone who called in. Before we get out of here, Luppy's got 5 more raffle tickets in his name. Let's go, Luppy. If you hear your name called, these are from Luppy, Dixon Sider, Ty91, the Texans fan, Nick Kowal, and Jacob Benuelos. Congrats to everyone who just got a membership. I'm back tomorrow, Thursday morning. Fireman Ed coming on a day earlier than normal. So Fireman Ed joining us tomorrow. Nick Faria will join us on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Jake Asman Show. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and get yourself in the Christmas spirit, baby. Take it away, Bobby.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Ha